Boom. And there we go. We are live. Right now, we have a freaking hell of a lot of guests, but let's kick it off right now. Welcome everybody to the inaugural live stream of the Say Something Lounge. We are live on X, YouTube, and Facebook. For links to watch later, go to xmikemac.com. I'm Michael Mack along with my wonderful co-host, Destiny Resendez. All we can say is if you got the guts to stick around, you might learn a little something from at least 4 of the people up here. But we're about to make this a night you're not going to forget. It's no holds barred, baby. If you see the guests that are here with us, you're absolutely going to want to follow them. They're fantastic, and they might say some things that make you wet your pants, but it's okay. Be a little freaking baby. How you doing? But if you want to chat with one of these great American icons, get in that chat right up there and make sure that you light it up. I want to introduce some of these people right now that's with us, and you're going to want to follow each one of these people on X. First up, great players. Waiting for one of the other great players. Some call them Bonnie and Clyde. Most of you know them as Dustin and Jen, 2 of the greatest patriots anywhere around, the founders of American Mission, and 2 of the calmest, most quiet adults that you'll ever meet in your life, said freaking nobody. Also got Bitcoin bad boy. Gary Cardone just came up with that. This guy could explain quantum physics to a chimp. Hangs around with a lot of them. But if you've ever been baffled by Bitcoin, I will say this. He can spell it out for you. No excuses for not getting it. And by the end of this, you will be a millionaire by about 9 o'clock tonight. So that is financial advice. AlphaWarrior, the name says it all. He's both. He is alpha and he is both warrior. He's about to drop more truth bombs than you can handle. I can assure you that. If you're not ready, you got to find the door, because Alpha is simply the man, and a hell of a good looking one. That's a fact. And last but not least, the great and powerful Wizard of Maze, Maze of Oz, or as the entire population knows her, Maze Love. If you don't know her and you don't know the way she thinks, the way she sees life, I promise you that is your loss, because she's special. Everybody who knows her loves her, and tonight she's slumming it with the rest of us. I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. So buckle the hell up, because the crew's here. We're not just going to talk. We're going to lay it all out. Table, relaxed. No holds barred, guys, gals, audience. Welcome to the Say Something Lounge. Destiny, why don't you tell us some of the things that we are going to be talking about tonight?
All right, you guys, we got Trump versus Kamala. We got Elon. We got Rogan, their choice of candidates, who's going to be president in their minds. We have the economy, the crash. What does it mean for Bitcoin? What does it mean for you and the rest of the Americans? And after that, we're going to go ahead and start with the men first, and then we'll jump in.
We'll go ladies first.
Ladies first? Oh, that's so sweet.
I mean, we can, you know what I'm saying? So basically, we got to pull. So we're going to just dive right into it, guys. Welcome. It's always good to see all of you. I am so happy that all of you are here. I could not have picked a better freaking crew than this. Let's just start with the things that are probably pissing a lot of us off. We got a street fight right now, Kamala and Trump, according to the media, right? This is a dead heat race. Now, I know I can feel Dustin laughing before I even say that. And I know there's no way it could be, right? I know he's not inviting people to his rallies. I know he's not sending out Evites with ID, but Dustin, go ahead and jump in there first.
No, listen, I'll start. This is such like the perfect encapsulation of like media manipulation, which is Kamala Harris was like overwhelmingly one of the most unpopular, unliked vice presidents of all time. Right? You would be hard pressed to find anyone that had anything nice to say about her like 3 weeks ago. And now all of a sudden, she is the ultimate, you guys. She is so popular. And look, we have these polls of 500 people that say America just loves Kamala. Kamala all over her face. Like it is. Are you kidding me? Like, is anyone buying this? The only thing that I worry about though is this, which is this is how they like forecast and foreshadow when they planning to steal something or do something nefarious, right? Is they get the media to be like, oh, look, it's neck and neck. They're polling it almost even. No. You were trying to set up some nonsense. That's what's happening right now. No one like Kamala. I'm not even convinced that like Kamala will end up being the candidate. We still have to get through the Democrat convention. Hillary, dude, Hillary is not going to let some other woman be the first woman president. I just don't believe it.
And Jen, your mic's muted, but we'd love to hear from you out there as the wind.
I'm having problems, guys. I'm trying.
No, it looks beautiful. What so your boy thinks that she's got no shot. What do you think?
Who, Kamala?
Yeah, she got no shot.
Listen, I don't think she has a shot, and I think Barack Obama has made that very clear, right? And he has been quoted in saying that she doesn't know how to navigate the landmines that are ahead of her. And you know, I honestly think that Hillary made a move on Barack by endorsing being after that letter went out from the White House that was unofficial, wasn't on the letterhead, nothing like that. They came out and they, you know, Hillary was the first person to endorse that move by Kamala, right? And ever since then, in my mind, right, I just have this weird feeling that Hillary was like, all right, Kamala, you need some protection against Barack Obama, right? He's trying to slide somebody in because he doesn't think you can do this, right? So Hillary goes, all right, I'll help you. I'll get you the nomination, right? Or the pre-nomination or whatever, right? But you're going to let me help you pick your vice president. And if you look at this guy, Walz, he is like the archetype of what the right hates, right? He's pro-illegal immigrant, pro-terrorist, right? He is pro-pedophile, right? He's literally given them protective status in the state of Minnesota. And why would you pick somebody that just oozes socialism when you know the right is on all those topics? Because it'll sink Kamala's battleship and everyone will see, because they knew the pedophile stuff was going to come out. They knew that was going to come out. They knew all of this stuff was going to come out, but they still went with him. And I think that was them being like, listen, we can't get rid of the DEI hire vice president. So let's just sink her battleship. And at the convention, we will do what we want. And I think Hillary's perfectly positioned in that position of power to kind of slide in there. I'm still not giving up on Hill Dog. You know, Hildebeest, she's sliding in. That's my theory.
and by the way, guy, any of y'all, Alpha, Maze, you guys jump in whenever you want to, because we don't have. I mean, I'm not, neither Destiny or I are going to direct this thing, but we did make a bet with Cardone's brother about Hillary being on that ticket. Hopefully, he doesn't call the bet on it. Maybe that's why Storm didn't show up. I don't know. But something. I mean. I can't put my finger on it, man, but it's maybe the news media thing is starting to work for me. Gary, I don't know about you, but it feels like these rallies, I know they're freaking rigged. I know they send out Evites, but man, it looks good on TV.
Nobody watches TV anymore. Nobody watches that anymore. What is that? What is television?
Yeah, but even the clips they play like online and stuff, man, it looks like she's got these packed crowds, you know?
Oh my God, I'm still waiting for somebody to show me a video of her making one coherent speech, just one. You know what I mean?
Dude,
not getting North Korea mixed up with South Korea.
Everything in context, okay? Because I can imagine what's to be unburdened by what has been, okay? What's to be unburdened by what has been. If she does it like this, like I know where she's getting hand movements from, but I'm just saying she does it every time. It's just watch. It's great.
Well, isn't that legit Marxist nomenclature, right? Isn't that it, like, you know, like we're all sitting here laughing that she's an idiot of like, oh, what is to be will be unburdened by what has been. And then you come to find out like, no, that's actually like a Marxist ideology. That she's repeating, that we're all thinking she's stupid, but she's actually just talking to the foot soldiers she needs to talk to.
Yeah, no, it's all about let's let go of the past, rebuild this new Marxist situation. And she thinks that with her little Venn diagrams that she's gonna woos everyone into her being president, which I still don't know how she has the ticket for the Democratic ticket. I don't understand how that's even legal still.
Well, to be honest, like she wants to be Barack Obama, right? Because like,
yeah, she doesn't want to be black,
right? But what Obama was really good at was saying like a lot of fancy words, so that people could project what they wanted him to be, like, right? Anyone could interpret it to be what they want. The problem is she ain't no Barack Obama, right? Like she does not have the eloquence, the speaking skills, right? And so it's, to be honest, it's the difference between like people just be like, what the hell was that? Be like, oh my God, he's so inspiring and he thinks exactly what I want him to think.
I was fooled by Barack Obama's like cadence when he first came about on the scene. I was like, wow, so eloquent. What a wonderful speaker. But you know who else was a really wonderful speaker? Hitler was a great speaker. You know, so it's not always a good thing. And I don't know if that's gonna, you know, people are gonna realize that maybe it's not all about speaking, but in Kamala's
Desi, you're a good speaker, baby. I mean, let's face it,
you.
you could create a whole little tribe. I think we should all just start creating our own little tribes, like Cardone tribe. I kind of like the way that goes down. You could have the Desi tribe. We have our own little sovereign. You know, if you want to go pick Kamala Harris to be your tribe leader, get after it, man. This world will go and burn in hell if that happens, guys. There is no chance she makes it to the. I mean, that would be. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just continue to ask the ladies around the world: is this really the example of femininity, of the woman presence, of being able to like generate, you know, great futures and do things men cannot do? Is this the God part of the female that you want to exemplify on the world stage?
She's the
And then the
furthest.
second question is, what, like, is this the best you fucking women can do? Seriously, man. Like, I would have killed this lady if she's a bad presentation to females. Seriously, it's an embarrassment. I wouldn't have killed her. You know what I'm saying? I'd have pushed her aside. There's 1,000 women that are better than this woman.
Dylan
Like,
Mulvaney is a better woman for president.
Ouch.
I would say there's billions better than this woman. And this is the problem with the DEI. Like whenever this, for it to be the president, for the president's seat, I mean, we don't, this has to be meritocracy, right? Like you have to earn this. This is just crazy that we're actually even considering Kamala Harris.
Alpha,
Wild times.
Alpha, this,
Not the right way.
go ahead, Des. I'm sorry to hear you.
So she earned it, just not for
Oh,
this.
yeah, she did earn it. She did earn it. But that's a totally different story.
I
For
know,
a
that's
totally
right.
different day. Alpha, look, I find myself saying these things and I feel like an idiot just saying them because it's real. And I'm literally just repeating real world scenarios here. And yet, if you would have written this script 20 years ago, there's no way you could even make a movie of the week about this, right? This lady was an absolute complete nothing. The only reason Biden was in as long as he was because nobody had any confidence. And once Newsom and Shapiro and these guys realized they're not throwing away their shot in 2028 to ride second fiddle to this chick, right? And now they're pumping her up like she is literally everything, man. I mean, I know because I've heard, look, if you don't follow Alpha, he's got a great channel over on Rumble, man. Does some of the greatest broadcasts. He's a great X space. Everybody,
Bro, why don't you introduce the cat? Because I ain't ever met the guy. Why don't you give him a little theater, man?
Well, Gary Cardone,
for the audience.
To my boy Alpha. I'm not going to repeat everything I just said, but Alpha is an absolute alpha male. He is a patriot. He has served in numerous capacities. Alpha, tell the crowd a little bit about, first of all, your background is kind of specific because of some of the stuff that you're going through legally and stuff like that. And so why don't you give us a little background kind of about what's happening in your life right now?
Yeah, real quick, back of the book version. Joined the Marine Corps a couple days after 9/11, went to war 2003. After the Marine Corps, went into law enforcement, did that for about a decade and a half. Didn't want to sign off on the bad things. I was one of the good guys with the badge. They came after my career. And then January 15th of 2021, the most honest law enforcement agency that exists in the country, the FBI, decided that they would flashbang my home and arrest me for January 6th, even though I wasn't at January 6th. They were mad because I do mean tweets like President Trump. So At the time, following of probably about 600 people, and the FBI said, "Hey, listen, stop tweeting against the government. Take the off ramp. You seem like a good guy." And I told him to go pound sand. Voice got louder. The people got behind me, and we started a podcast and started growing a good support team on X and on Rumble, and here we are. That's how I got into the fight, man.
That's the beauty of having you and Dustin and Jen up here is what you guys have actually been through. So I know that when these things are happening now, they affect you guys terribly. What's your thoughts on what we were talking about earlier with Kamala? Like what
how do you not talk about her and it not seem like you're making shit up because it's that crazy? Are we gonna forget how she even escalated her career when it came to California? Are we gonna forget about the controversy with I believe his name was Willie Brown? Are we gonna forget that when she was, not even close to being senior prosecutor, but she gets to the top tier jobs that would have went to the most senior people? I mean, the woman has gone to the top of the ranks because of the favors that she does. And I'll leave it at that. I'll call them favors.
Hey, let me ask you this. Did you happen to see, and I'm sure you guys did, the Trump rally when he brought up the girl from Chick-fil-A? Was it Chick-fil-A? And she gets up there and she goes, I guess that, what was she saying? Des, do you remember what she said about Willie Brown's wife or something like that, where if she's for the people, I guess something about asking.
Why weren't you there for
Willie Brown if Kamala is good for black families?
Yeah, that's right. And I've seen the meme video where they do that whole, that famous Obama meme where that guy just leans back and everybody just like, it's that I'll give it to that girl. She had some guts, man. Like she went up there and didn't hesitate. Go ahead, Des.
She had gumption. She said what like a lot of people want to say, because I understand as a woman of color, seeing somebody like Kamala take not only the woman card, or like at least trying to take the first woman president card, and then additionally riding on the coattails of this whole same black scam that Biden ran with. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And apparently she's black. And if she ain't, I guess she won't win, because that's how she's trying to portray herself right now. And she's riding on those coattails, but every person of color in this country, especially African Americans like myself, it's just, I can't imagine anyone being any less pissed off than me or that woman, because it's just, that ruins a lot. That ruins a lot. So she let it all out. I would too.
Divisive content, divisive network, baby. Back in this stream right now. Red, I actually think Kamala is a perfect representation of the modern American childless boss babe. That's not a bad call.
No, don't say
Well, I want to echo what Destiny said. As a fellow woman of color, Kamala is super offensive and terrible all the way around.
Well, and we all, and I didn't want to say anything because, I know how particular you are, Dustin, about being a woman of color. Because it's a tricky thing. Cardone doesn't care. He'll call you out for anything. I'm a little bit more sensitive when it comes to being a woman of color.
I would remind you that Greg Anderson up in our part of our population, which I like to admire, our group that follows us. Greg says, look at the color of black. Now that is deep. And if you know anything about color, like, we should actually go through that exercise. Look at the color of black and what it's made up of. It is absolutely amazing. We're still doing this shit. Making it even an issue. Okay. However, on the female thing, I have known some wonderful, wonderful women in my life that would be vomiting right now if this is the best we can do. Dude, it is an embarrassment to the female species. I'm telling you, I would be vomiting here. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what politics you are. If, like, who else was like this? Well, Biden's kind of a good example, but Biden's not nearly as embarrassing to men or humanity as Kamala is. Not anywhere close. It's really embarrassing. I mean, she cannot possibly have an IQ over 108. Not possible. And like, no, I'm not making fun of her.
No, I know.
But dude, you're not going to put me in charge of taking rockets to the moon. I'm not smart enough. So if you say, hey, Gary's not qualified, that would be a fact. And like, this is really the example of who we are. We're a thought, a construct, freedom, speech, all that stuff. I mean, America is a construct of agreements, and she does not represent what we initially stood for as a group.
She's embarrassing.
I don't really get it.
She's so freaking embarrassing. I mean,
that's really all. I don't even belittle her. Like, I don't have anything. She did something when she was 18, whatever. We probably all did. Okay. I might have not have gotten paid for it.
hey, oh.
And then again, I might have. Who knows? But I mean, we all get paid at the end of the day. Let's face it.
Do you guys remember when they told her, why haven't you been to the border? And she's like, I haven't been to
Europe.
Dude, who answers that way? Okay.
Well, if you remember, it was what's his name? What was the guy? What was the announcer's? I forget his name.
The anchor.
Yeah,
I don't know his name.
he asked her. So you haven't been to the border? Well, well, we've been to the border, and he goes, you haven't been to the border. Well, I haven't been to Europe either.
Okay, it's all because there was no school buses yet. That was before the
electric school buses. Because the electric school buses don't emit any fumes. And
I went to school on a school bus. Raise your hand if you went to school on a school bus. Like, you just, it just drives you mad. It's the yellow, like electric short buses.
Hey, raise your hand if you ever blew one up.
That's a good question. I have not. I want to ask
Talk to Grant about that, by the way.
For all the authorities asking, I have not. No, not my jam.
Not my jam. Or of course, we could make a meme out of it and maybe make a token. Shit, Dustin can freaking tokenize anything and make it freaking. Oh my God, it's like the dude from Wall Street. Okay, seriously, Maze, I want to ask you a question. Everybody in the world knows Maze. Everybody on X loves Maze. They know the kind of spaces that she hosts. Maze, we know that you're not woke, right? We know that you do not agree with this agenda. So when people come into your space, you have one of your gifts is that you're able to smooth things over so well with people, where you're able to take both sides and kind of bring people together. And Maze will follow someone that literally just destroys her in a space, right? She's incredible in the way that she does that. So Maze, I want to maybe you could give us some tips, right? How in the hell do you handle this kind of stuff? Because I know it comes. I see you in Alpha in spaces, and Alpha's another calm one. I'll give it to Alpha too. I've seen Alpha get into debates with people, and Alpha goes, "Well, let me ask you a question. If you don't mind, can I ask you a question?" And everybody, they just get so freaking pissed, bro. So Maze, tell me what's the key? What's the key to handling the ridiculousness of what we're seeing?
Well, I'll just say that, I realize that the power in prioritizing unity, meaning like not just severing relationships based on a disagreement, right? We tend to do that. That's kind of like maybe even conditioning, but people can get into a disagreement about anything. It could be Bitcoin versus crypto. It could be this, that. And so they completely sever relationships and they find themselves in their own little echo chambers. They feel powerless, weak, small, unable to cause significant change when what's needed right now is significant change. And so I guess what I aim to do is remind people that at the core, we have the same values. We want the same things, right? Like we want to protect our family. We want freedom. We want, to kind of send our kids off into school and not worry about them being brainwashed or come back a boy or girl, well, the opposite sex of what they were. And so, and everybody really, they vibe with that. When I remind them, they vibe with that. And so the key is just to have more tolerance for differences. And so with the reminders and with leading by example, it tends to work. That's like the alchemy that works.
Can I just say that I completely disagree with Maze on this? I don't even know you, and I will block you. Block.
Yeah, no,
Maze?
that Listen, I will say that I tend to have a very diverse, versatile following, but I think it's important, I mean, there are fundamentally things that, that might really be worthy of dividing, right? Like over. I mean, anybody, gosh, we were talking about Kamala, and this shouldn't really be one of them, but it's almost like I can't even entertain a conversation if somebody's really considering her as a candidate to run the United States of America. Like, she has not yet. I think she has an alcohol problem. And all jokes aside, I feel like she's either inebriated or extremely dizzy naturally. Either way, whatever you want to land on, definitely not a good fit. It's almost like a joke. I feel like we're on Saturday Night Live or something. I mean, and so it is difficult to have conversations with people who really are entertaining this. And I get it. I'm gonna have to work on that too, Dustin. But yeah, at this point, it's I don't even, they don't come around us that much. I don't think she has that big of a following. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Well, no, so to that point, Maze, like, and what I will say on this, right? Can you imagine, like, what we've just been talking? Can you imagine being so shameless and so pitiful, like the Krasensteins or these people who are like, oh my God, Kamala is just so amazing. Like, bro, like 3 weeks ago, it was like, we can't have Kamala, it would be the end of the world. Like, it's so pathetic. And I will say this, I don't block people for disagreements. I block people for not having value, right? So like that, if you approach me for the first time and you're hostile or you're talking smack or you clearly don't know what the hell it is you're talking about, like, my job, I do not see my job anymore as having to wake everybody up, which is if the lockdowns haven't done it, if the stolen election, if the vaccines, if if everything we've lived through for the last 5 years, like, hasn't woken you up, you're either too stupid to be of any value to like a movement, right? Or you're not being genuine. And so, like, I got no time for that.
Gary, you interact with the Krasensteins very, very often?
I would like to. I would love to under a controlled environment, because I think they're like, I am most certain they are being paid by someone.
Most definitely.
Nothing else makes any sense.
No.
I'll gladly do a, not to be rude or anything, but a bank balance and see who's really got an agenda here, because these two 42-year-olds who I don't know what any of their credentials are, but like me and my brother don't do a lot together for a reason. And but I think the way you handle these people is just let them go, man. Give them as much line as they pot. You just keep. It's the story of big fish, right? Big fish is like, 1,400-pound marlin. And the thing is, you just keep adding line and thicker line, right? The reel runs out. Hey, give me another line. Give me some heavy duty shit. And sooner or later, he's just going to get so exhausted, carrying so many skeletons in his closet. This is what's happening, okay? We need to worry about ourselves, in my opinion. Let these motherfuckers blow themselves up, because they will. No one's paying me. No one's going to pay me. No one can pay me, and everybody else needs to make a living. And when I see somebody doing what they're doing, clearly their eyes are closed. Okay, like they're mouthing a pitch. It's not even. It can't even stand up on their own 4 feet. These theories they have, it's just absolute ridiculous. So I think humanity is going to see this shit, dude. The more authentic and fair and honest, but also, like, I just had a drink with a guy in the military, and he's like, hey, you're really legit. Like, like they're sitting there going, what are you doing this for? I'm like, because we have an open pipe, dude. I just put something in, tried to present something. CNN just took a $10 billion freaking loss, a write down. We are winning this game, man. Okay? The propaganda arm is the tip of the freaking spear. So if we can offer up as many authentic, honest, caring people that have only one agenda is create a big community. No tokens, dude, like all this stuff. Some of you guys have probably wondered, hey, why isn't he getting involved? I'm like, because to me, there's a much, 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 much bigger game here. And it's going to happen right now. The next 4 years are so critical to this, so critical to everyone on the chessboard. Like the next 4 years is going to decide where you sit on the chessboard. For certain, I am for certain that is true.
Don't
Listen,
listen
you're
to
gonna
him.
jump in
I'm
there.
gonna get Gary and some meme coins. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah, but
Well,
Gary's right though. Oh, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, no. I just think that there is no shortage of time here. Okay. You know who's really worried? Getting ready to lose my seat. Okay. That's the guy that's under pressure. When a woman says, hey, you've never been to Mexico, the border, and her response is, yeah, I ain't never been to Europe either. That shows you how bad of a negotiator she could possibly be. Okay. I'll give you an example. I just had a meeting for 30 minutes. In fact, it was 14 minutes with one of my team members. Inbound call from a very large Bitcoin player. Hey, we want to advertise on your channel. We think you're authentic. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, dog. I mean, I am so authentic, it's stupid. In fact, I tried to use your app and it failed. And 30 or $40 million later, guess what? I don't have any of your shit. Like, he's like, oh my God, really? I said, wouldn't that make a great story? If you could recover me, that would make a great story. And then I moved to a whole set of things. This took 14 minutes with a team of marketing guys. I ended up in their institutional department, okay, which is exactly where I wanted to be. But my team member looked at me and went, hey, why didn't you ask them how much they were going to pay you for the promotion? And I'm like, because I'm fucking not interested in the advertisement, dude. The whole thing is, hey, can we like wiggle into this whole industry and actually start shaping this thing while these other people are just doing this shit all day long? I believe that most people understand they're a bunch of idiots. When they go in that voting box, they're going to go, do I want my check to increase or decrease? Do I want my life to be better or worse? It ain't going to be perfect. But I'll bet on some businessmen. I cannot convince Kamala Harris and her team to bring in businessmen to run the education department. But I do believe that a guy like Trump would entertain a guy like me running the education department. And I bet every one of you would be like, oh, dude, he hates education. Let him run it. He would be the best guy to run it. That's what we need to do. And no one else is going to get us there. No one, because we need a leader who wants smart people there. When you have 108 IQ, dude, you don't want 140. Sorry.
Well, no, I think Gary was right on everything, but particularly going back, I don't know if anybody's spent any amount of time on TikTok or any other social media platform. But the amount of videos and honest videos that I'm seeing of people who are like, I've never voted for Trump. I've never supported Trump. But I am now. I'm totally MAGA, and they like have their MAGA hat to throw on. It is really unbelievable. And since Kamala Harris has become the presumptive nominee, they have flooded the zone with all of these news stories of, oh my gosh, she's winning. She's so far up in the polls. Meanwhile, those are the same people in 2016 who told us Hillary was going to win. The same people who told us in 2020 that, you know, Trump was going to lose, even though we know he didn't lose, right? But still, they weren't right any of those times. And they were the same pollsters who have been telling us the whole time that nobody, no Republican or conservative has a hope or prayer of a chance of winning. So why all of a sudden, because they flooded the zone and because she's new and shiny, right? That we're all of a sudden, everyone's like, oh my God, we're going to lose. There's no hope. There's no hope. And yeah, there has to be be some of that, right? We can't act like we're going to win, right? Because you don't want to be overconfident, because that always kills it. But there is also a point where you have to act from a point of gravitas, of position, of like, no, what you represent is wrong. It's diabolically wrong. It's evil, and it doesn't belong in society. And I don't have to sit here and live in this fantasy world that you're trying to present to me in order to be part of polite society. Like, I'm tired of being tired of like polite society, right? I'm tired of having to toe these lines and listen to these people and not say this and not say that. Like, no, we have to say those things, and we have to operate as winners and not losers constantly. We have to go on offense and not defense, right? There is a different mindset you have to be in. And if if they're flooding the zone, they're trying to kill your confidence. They're trying to make it seem like you're not winning and you'll just give up and that there's no hope. And that's not where we have to be operating from.
Well, no, you bring up a great point. And Des, I wanted to ask you about this because I think as conservatives, we get kind of caught up in the whole compassionate thing. Like it was kind of, to Mace's point earlier, do we really consider these people as trying to do the best that they can? That what they really want is good things? Because I'm thinking to myself, like, we're on the right, and I know Alpha's probably going to smile at this in a minute, but like, we are on the right, but aren't we also right? Because I cannot see a scenario where a baby at 9 months can be aborted. I don't see a scenario where that plays out in a good way. And then people will come back and they'll say, yeah, but if it was rape or incest, first of all, you know how hard it is to have a baby to begin with? Rape and incest almost shuts the body down from having a baby. It's a very, very minute. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's so minute, right? But even in that scenario,
that they can give you for after that happens.
Exactly. But even in that scenario, Des,
statistically, Mike, that argument they bring up is still less than 1%.
Yeah.
Of the cases that happen.
I mean, but look what they did for COVID, and that was less than 1%. So, I don't put anything past these people anymore.
But in my mind, though,
9 months,
in my mind, I think Republicans should be more powerful in that area, because you're still protecting the baby, not the scenario that caused the baby, right? Even if it was rape or incest, that baby, a 95-year-old person who's an invalid, they can't speak, their own life support, whatever, they still have rights from the United States. They still have rights to be protected. That's why the argument that, well, I'm a woman, I have the right to choose what to do with my body as I see fit. Well, the baby can't speak, the 95-year-old woman can't speak.
Then choose protection.
Yes.
Yeah, but what Mike is saying, right, is the fact that argument in and of itself is wrong. Gary, do you want to go? Go ahead, Gary.
Gary had his hand up. Gary, go ahead.
Wow. What made you wonder? No, ladies first, please.
Oh, no, thank you. I appreciate it. But what I was going to say was, if we know that argument is inherently wrong, right? You know that there is right and there is wrong on certain things. That's why I've been handling spaces the way I have. We have spent 4 years at least trying to undo all of these rumors, all of these things that have permeated through society that aren't true. Why are we allowing people to get up and espound and keep going and going and going with the same stupid talking points that we have proven were not true to begin with? Because everybody needs a chance to talk. Like, yeah, we started with everybody needs a chance to talk, and look at where we ended up. There are things in society that are right and they're wrong. And where are you going to stand on that? And standing in this gray area of like, oh, we need to hear both sides. No. We don't need to hear both sides. We need to hear the right side and what we need to do, especially on issues like 9-month birth abortion.
Why do we never have these? Why do we never have these arguments with people from England when they come over here to drive in our country? Why do they not bring their culture of driving on the left side of the road over here? We never debate. We never debate that, right? I think that we should be able to drive on the left side of the road because that's where I'm from. Like, nobody ever debates that, because if you drive on the left side of the road, you die.
That's more typical because at least there is like a cultural background. Like, yeah, some people drive on the other side of the road. There's no culture on earth that like intentionally lets births go up to 9 months and then kills the baby.
No, but you can't drive on the left side of the road in an area that won't let you drive. Otherwise, you kill everybody.
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying like that would even be more forgivable, of course.
Hold on a second. Is that Dustin?
Call me, teacher. Call me. I have some data.
Oh, I believe that.
I just have one quick
Cardone.
One quick sentence.
See, this is exactly.
Let me just say this one quick thing. Well, and okay, go ahead.
Fucking hell, Mace. I cannot believe you will do this.
I just want to
exactly
I know you're going to take us
school,
away from the whole abortion thing.
Bitch.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mace.
Hey,
Mace,
what? Listen, I just think that it's important for us to understand the reason why they want the 9-month-old babies is for testing. This is for scientific testing. The Planned Parenthood even got caught on camera. They were on a hot mic talking about what they're doing with this. So I think it's important for people to keep that in mind. And you know, in the Krasensteins is the last point I want to make about them. Like, what really bothers me about this shit is that, you know, to understand what you are doing in a situation because you want to get paid to be some sort of political influencer when we're kind of at the, you know, brink of like, you know, potentially the downfall of America could happen within the next 4 years. Right. And so like, it really pisses me off to think that and to be honest with you, they are intelligent, right? Even though they are completely psycho, they're very intelligent. And I just cannot fathom that people have no moral compass. Like, how could you lead your followers into actually accepting her as a potential candidate?
Think they're intelligent? What makes you think they're intelligent? You know what? Well, the audience is fucking sheep. Okay, this is the problem. They are not intelligent, Mace. You've spent a lot of time with me. They are very good at interrupting, being rude, and being wordsmiths, and taking shit out of context and conflating issues. And the audience, this platform does not afford an opportunity. That's why I'm doing this. Because I'm like, hey, this is bullshit, dude. I can actually debate with anyone because I'm honest. And like, I actually want to get to the real answer. And some of the shit these people are doing, this has to be paid for, okay? This is like aggressive conflation. I mean, I agree with you there, if you Gary. Think they're smart, then you know they know what they're doing.
Exactly.
See, that's even scarier.
That's
Sorry
my
to interrupt
point.
You,
no, that was it. Over to you. I know you have some data. Tell us what you got.
No, tell me more, because I'm trying to figure out, hey, am I wrong about these two cats? Because
you're not, Gary. Because
this is very important, right?
And one of the ways you get to identify these narrative operations is if you look at and this is why I tell people, pay attention to these guys like the Krasensteins and the JoJo from Jers and Defiant Dad. Why do they all tweet the same topics? And sometimes it's even verbatim. Why? Because they're getting these mass emails that are in collaboration of what they're supposed to push. So of course they're part of a structured network that's to lie. They know what they're doing, which means they're even more. This is not an issue of them being dumb or not having conviction. This is them saying, I'm selling out my country for some type of thing that I'm getting a gain out of.
In my soul.
Can I jump in here? Because like I'm so freaking fed up. How much of their traffic is from us talking about them? You know how many hours I have watched my like conservative, my right wing, my libertarian friends waste talking about people who bring zero freaking value at all. If we could muster up just for a minute the ability to avoid like the opportunity to dunk on the stupid, right? So like the brilliance of what they do is they put stuff out that is bait that we feel really like good, that like we smack down the idiots. And really what we're doing is feeding them. But the reason they are here is not because a bunch of like left-wingers just absolutely love them. The only reason that left-wing people follow them is because we draw attention to them when we react to the nonsense that they put on. Can we please talk about real freaking stuff? Right? I'm going to take the Gary Cardone issue here. Right? And I love you guys. I love my right to lifers. But we are on the brink of World War III. The economy is absolutely tanked. Right? We have we are in danger of hyperinflation, right? Monetary policy collapse, the US dollar losing its status as the world reserve currency, and we can't like get ourselves to stay on message at all. And I'll give you an example, right? The left and the media spent 3 years non-stop every single day talking about January 6th. Every single day. Donald Trump was shot in the face a couple of weeks ago, and we barely talk about it anymore. Because we are so locked in to the fake narratives, right? Like, you know those like kid things, like the sing-alongs where there's like a little bouncy ball across the bottom of the screen on the words you're supposed to sing? That's what we are, right? And the Krasensteins and the people we're talking about right now, they feed it to us in a way that doesn't feel like it's being fed to us, so that like, oh, everybody's dunking on the Krasensteins and all these other people at the same time. But really what they've done is they have manipulated us into talking about the topics that they want us to talk about instead of the shit that really matters. And like, we have to do better. We have to do better.
Dustin, do you think it has anything to do with their voice? Like the fact that they do come across with that passive, that passive aggressive. Yeah, but I just and by the way, let me just say this real quick. We are not talking about the Krasensteins behind their back, right? This is live, and look, I've had good conversations with Ed and Brian before, right? Not about like real stuff, but they're more than welcome to come on here. So this is I don't want this to feel like that we're dunking on somebody that's not here to defend themselves, even though I don't think it's necessarily bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, but that's the tell, right? And I've been in plenty of like spaces with the Krasensteins brothers, right? And I can actually sit there and have a logical conversation with them on a space. But if you go and you read what they're posting, it's completely hyperbolic and crazy from the positions that they're actually holding when they have to use their own voice and not behind a computer screen in spaces.
So
right?
did they have a space
That's
there
for
where they were talking about
monetization.
Trump?
They're doing it for clickbait.
Our show notes, right? Like the plan for what we were supposed to talk about during this show, right, had us talking about Joe Rogan endorsing RFK and what that impact is, like what the third party is.
We're getting there, man. It's just this one eats me
We're
up.
talking about freaking Ed and Brian Krasenstein. Like, come on, man.
You're right.
That was not me. That was.
You're right. It's playing out. It's playing out just like.
Because you fell for it, Mike.
Yo, hey, look.
I did fall for it,
guys. Dustin, he's right. Okay, we have been taking the bait. You guys have to go into these spaces now. I'm just going to share with you the best strategy for us is that people that are running spaces decide they are going to control their fucking kitchen. Okay, you're not going to let these people come in and waste time, and don't let your group get riled up, man. He's totally right, dude. They're just throwing you cheap bait. Costs nothing. There's no protein value. We have become a dopamine society. I am terrified of this process right here, okay? Why? Because I am terrified of the dopamine, dude. Like I was looking at some comments the other day. People just rip people into shreds. They're telling me I'm a crackhead and what happened to Granny aged 30 years? And I'm sitting there going, it disturbs me though. One, it's like, wow, that's pretty offensive. But also, I'm like, where were their mothers, man? Where were their fathers? Because why would anyone say that to another human being? This is why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin. Here I am. I have taken 0 fucking pennies from doing this shit, which is really cool, right? That's why I'm not taking any money, because I can take the high moral fucking grind. I can say, fuck you, dude. 0 motive other than trying to help. And I happen to see CNN loses $10 billion, which I have been predicting. And Fox is going to lose $10 billion. And every other cunt media fucking company that's selling government bullshit, okay, is going to die. And my job is to encourage all you guys to buy.
Lost his audio.
Your audio.
We lost your audio.
I think we're
There we
so
go.
important here. If we could get 10,000 alphas, okay? Look, there's 1,000 guys just like me that are retired, bored to death playing golf. They should be on this damn media stream. They have more content than Anderson Cooper, Tucker, and all of them combined because they're actually living life. All these people know how to do is interview people. They have no content. Someone that knows how to sew socks has more content and will attract probably 8 million people at least out of the law of big numbers, because you're tapping into 8 billion people now. Okay. Look, if we leave the math and the money out of this, I can show you guys how we make money from this, but it's not the way we're approaching it. We should be approaching it from a seriously decentralized manner, going slower and being more methodical and bringing quality and authenticity to the market. It is what y'all are all complaining about. I have been lied to. Okay, then let's bring some reality, some real cool truth to the table. It's going to pay a monster premium. I promise you guys.
It's the only way forward on that authenticity part, because this new alternative media that is just flooding the audience out there, the audience is now getting to see, hey, this is what authenticity really looks like. And so now that's making them be like, well, I don't want that.
Dude, they've never seen it. That's why Crass can get away with it, because it's fucking it's a Hollywood series kind of shit, right? Sorry to interrupt, but
no, you're good. And that's why I always tell people, like, how many times do we hear the word information war? It's like you can go on social media and every day you're going to hear it, but do people truly understand what you're saying when you say that? If you look at Boone and General Flynn's book, 5th Generation Warfare, and how it walks through the different steps of 1st generation, 2nd generation, 5th generation warfare is information warfare. They're saying that information warfare is more advanced and more dangerous than nukes. Like, I mean, think about the concept of that. Like, and when people grasp, so you're telling me information warfare is more dangerous than a damn atom bomb? Then that means, okay, then I need to pay attention to this. I need to tap into this. And it's one of those things where we're surrounded. And I get the frustration. Like, I'm with Dustin. You're not going to change the Krasenstein's minds because they're not arguing on conviction. They're arguing on what they're being paid for and what their mission is. But at the same time, we have these lost sheep that wander in there. And, you know, when you present the arguments that you're doing it for the purpose of the people that are listening, not the people that are on the stage, because we don't know who they are. They could be agents, they could be operatives, and, you know, they could be government, they could be military. But I think we do need to continue the fight on all the fronts. But I think we do need to prioritize the things that we're talking about. Absolutely.
Well, so I want to build on what Alpha and Gary were just talking about, right? So, like, we are in the midst of like a real transition, like in monetary, in tech, in AI, right? I believe in politics, although I don't believe a lot of people have like really like allowed themselves to believe that yet. But it is all for naught if we fall for the exact same tricks that like we fell for with the mainstream media. And so, right, like if you tune into Fox News or CNN, what do? You get shallow people arguing about things at the most shallow possible level, right? It is designed specifically to not provoke any depth and to appeal to the lowest common denominator. Now people are conditioned for that. And so what's happening? What are you seeing? The largest spaces, the largest alternative medias right now, right? The ones that seem like they're the biggest are often botted, right? Their numbers are often artificially inflated. And why are they artificially inflated? Because it's keeping us at the same shallow level. So if you waste your time, right? If you're, and the reason I love all the people on this panel in particular is that all of you guys put the work in, and all of you, I've had insane in-depth discussions on Bitcoin with Gary. Me and Maze have talked about every issue under the sun for hours on hours and hours and hours, right? poor Mike, like I've tried to fix his XRP habit, but you know, we're working on it. Like he'll get there, right? But for all of that, if we just become the exact same mind machine, because we can't help ourselves from the dopamine hit that Gary just talked about, of like, oh, look, I could look way cool and I could make a really strong point because the Krasensteins or somebody else said something that's really like easy for me to combat. You are literally being manipulated. You are literally being steered, and you've got to cut that shit out, right? You've got to get back to talking about the real shit that matters to people, the real things that they can be doing. Otherwise, we're going to create a new ecosystem that's the same as the old ecosystem.
So Dustin, the people that are listening, is your advice to them, is it best, do you think, to just stay out of those spaces? Like just to avoid those conflicts and just...
You guys will notice something, right? There's probably 6 or 7 people that if they are in a space, I will not join it. I will not waste my time, right? The thing is, my time is...
Who are they, Dustin?
Jared, Brian, I don't know their last names, right?
Brian, oh my God, dude. That's
They're
one
the
right there.
obnoxious ones, right? I will occasionally talk to Brian and Ed Krasenstein, right? Occasionally, right? They're not on my like will never speak with, but I see these information ops. I will not go into your space. I will not be on your panel because I am a busy man. I am accomplishing real things in the real world, and I don't have hours of my freaking life to waste like listening to these freaking idiots interrupt everybody and everybody else being like, oh, but it drives the numbers up. I don't give a shit about the large numbers. I would rather talk to 10 people who are intelligent, who are motivated, who get shit done, than 10,000 people who are like, look, they're fighting. Blah, blah, blah.
Can I jump in on that?
Yeah.
Okay, because you have such a good point. Like, I don't follow either of the Krasensteins. I know they follow me, but I don't follow them because of the exact reason you're saying. It's echo chamber. They do clickbait, dopamine hit, quick reward system, overhyping absolutely everything. Like he was saying, I think it was yesterday, it was a post about him saying, if my son wants to have a tampon, they better have him in his high school. And I was like, what are you saying, Ed? This is the most ridiculous thing you could possibly... It's so ridiculous that you know that it's manufactured, because there's no way any person, not even a man, just any person would genuinely feel that way. But he does these things, and I don't go into those spaces either. I don't go to Mario's spaces. I don't go to the Krasenstein spaces. I avoid them like the plague, because if we don't stop imitation is the highest form of flattery. And these people have their heads so far up their butts, so they don't need any flattery from us. And we have better things to be doing than trying to mimic their algorithm prone, tactics. It's just not worth it. And that's why staying with what you're good at and staying authentic, I think it is going to win. I know it's going to win. I can see it winning already. And they've taken a bad choice thinking that cognitive warfare, that's exactly what's going on. It includes psychological warfare plus social engineering tactics and weaponizing social media and public opinion against people in order to get them to do anything that they want. And we are in the midst of this, and it's not as effective as they think it's going to be when people, as they are, start realizing that truth does exist out there, and it doesn't have to be this fanfare dramatic. I think people are getting tired of it. I'm tired of it. Des,
we're not weaponizers by nature, though, right? You don't hear of a bunch of Republicans that are trying to assassinate Democrat candidates. We're conservative, hence the word conservative liberal. One puts a little bit of ketchup on the fries, one puts a lot of ketchup on the fries. It is literally in the terminology. They are liberal with their thoughts and their freaking expansive
they will burn
minds and
out.
ideas.
You cannot go that level forever. You will burn out. They're going to have to replace them with new people constantly, as they do. And
that's what Dustin's saying, though. We're always on the defense, and it gets us sucked into this thing where it's like we feel like we're doing something because we're fighting back, but really what they're doing is they're just suppressing us and keeping us down and destroying us, and we don't even see it. Go ahead, Dustin.
Right. And here's the brilliant, and you have to think like, right, and Alpha brought up psychological warfare, right? Here's what you have to think about, right? Chess, not checkers. They know that you are going to respond and feel like you're on the offensive, like you just accomplished it, right? They are replacing the feeling that you're supposed to get when you do real things with something that is very close but artificial, right? And think about this, which is and that was the perfect example. Oh, I hope that my son will have tampons in his bathroom. If okay, do you think that who is that supposed to get interaction and engagement from? It it's
Everyone and
you.
anyone.
It's you. Right? It's literally designed to have you spend your time talking about tampons in men's bathrooms. I don't know, instead of the war that they're trying to the next forever war in Iran that they're trying to start, the way that they are robbing and stealing from all of us through inflation and all of their other policies, the way that our Congress and our government is completely and totally corrupted and doesn't answer to anybody. Oh, but we just spent 3 days talking about tampons in goddamn men's bathrooms. Like, that's a real fucking problem, right? You all, and I mean this royally, right? But we have to take back control of the fucking message, right? We have to stop being led around by our freaking nose and our ear to whatever the next thing, because, oh, it feels so good. I feel so superior, and I just smacked down. Did you see the way I smacked down the stupid liberal on X? Just take back control of your life. I will say this. Like, I have had the best freaking 2 weeks I may have ever had in my entire life. And honestly, the difference has been and I don't care what God you pray to or what it like, no God at all, or energy or karma or woo-woo shit or whatever it is. I love everybody, right? I've literally 3 times a day been putting my head down and asking for discernment and for guidance, right? I have been praying hard to like break out of this like cycle that I see all of these people I love caught up in, right? Because we're not doing anything. We're not accomplishing anything. It feels like we are, but that's the brutality of the psyop, which is we are replacing what we're supposed to feel when we accomplish real things with a feeling and a chemical release that is very similar, but does not actually have you accomplish anything. We have to break out.
I feel you. I feel alone in that effort though, because when you try to focus on, because I do COVID research first and foremost above everything, and I still do COVID research, and I'm going to keep doing it. And I know because I feel it myself. When you stick to a topic, you stick to getting something resolved, you feel the rest of the world moving around you like so fast. Because if I spend one day on my COVID stuff, which is like every day, I miss every story, and then people go crazy. And it's hard, but we have to like literally train ourselves to get out of their matrix and get back to reality.
I would give anybody this challenge, anybody, right? Like if you understood the words that just came out of my mouth, right? I would really, right? Like you're like, wait, am I being like psyoped here? Take a whole week and don't go on social media. Like seriously, find a way and come back and ask yourself if the conversations that you missed meant diddly fucking squat to your life. I dare you. I dare you to try it.
Man, I've been thinking about that exact same thing, man. I swear to God, I've been, going back to work, man, and I've been missing it. I'm like, it's interesting. That's a great point. I might take you up on that challenge, Dustin, but it is hard, man. And I want to go to Maze real quick because I worry about, because I don't understand how she does it. And so I worry about, does Maze, do you ever feel yourself getting psyoped? Because you always have the ability to bring people together. But I wonder, do you ever self-reflect and wonder, am I getting it wrong? Or am I worried about the way that other people feel as opposed to worried about how I feel? You know, are you going through some of this? Like, do you go through that mental stress? Because a lot of us don't, we don't see it.
Well, yes, I self-reflect. In fact, I do it often. One of the things that I've made a priority is to, like the bad actors, like I have never let Jared on any of my stages. Once I recognize people who are there to disrupt, who are mouthpieces, whatever, I no longer include them in the conversation. So I really do meet people where they are. There's a lot of people that are asking questions, and I get it. I get that there's a lot of people that are fed up too. And so in essence, many people are looking for, I would say, a political home, if you will. A lot of people who would have never voted for Trump are now, kind of voting for Trump just to basically keep out a lot of the woke bullshit. And to, because he's literally said he's not going to allow CBDCs to come. And that's kind of my expertise is what global governance looks like. It's taking all of these different things that people are so passionate about in their own silos and showing you how they intersect and how all of these roll up to global strategies that are aligned, to the sustainable development goals. So in the process, many people who have all these questions and now realizing that, wait a minute, maybe it doesn't serve me to be anti-Trump, or it doesn't serve me to, I think that there is a lot of value there. Now, as far as my mental health, I take digital detoxes. I'll take, 1 to 3 days, usually completely away from social media. And I practice a lot of energetic hygiene. Y'all know my little sound bowls and all that stuff. But for me, if I don't do that, I would probably lose my shit. But I'm careful about that. So, I don't know. I think that right now, my biggest value that I can offer the platform and the people that follow me is how to begin to take their scattered energy and their scattered attention and to be able to put it together like a laser and to be able to apply resistance or come together in support of causes that we care about. People have a very different perception of reality. They have a different perception of how urgent it is. And so I just kind of bring them together to calibrate. So, I guess, does that answer your question?
No, it does. And it makes a lot of sense. But, what Dustin was talking about is one thing, but and go to Gary with this one. But, the economy, man, this is because I think about people when we go, like if I go to the grocery store and I look at people that are checking out, and I'm sure that we've all seen this, right? Like you look at people, and I know some of the people down here in Texas, I know that some of them are maybe not supposed to be here. And I feel terribly for the fact that they're literally putting things back, right? Because they're having to make decisions at the food aisle, And so the thing about it's not just the stress about the political stuff. It's the stress over the fact that the economy, right? We just saw it the other day. Gary, I was in your spaces and Gary always hits these things in a way that somehow or another we feel a lot better coming out. Like if I have to say this, and I'm not simping for freaking Cardone here, but I do feel better about knowing that at least you have what appears to be a safety net in Bitcoin now, because it touched 49 the other day in the biggest crash since freaking FTX, right? And it's already popped right back up into the low 60s, just like that. So you can't be more encouraged than that. And I'm hoping that people take advantage of that. But what do you think about that aspect, Gary? Do you think that this is 2008 bad coming? Do you think that, and I don't want to hear any anti-crypto crap from you either, Alpha. So don't be.
We got an anti guy.
No, Bitcoin made me some money the last couple of days. That's all.
There you go, bro. There you go. Well, first off, I would like to say that I agree with Dustin and Desi and Jen. I agree with their Maze. I agree with everyone. There are not enough voices on these platforms. Not anywhere close, dude. I've been watching. I am as good a business guy as you can imagine. I am an absolute hunter. And like the gaps here are absolutely staggering. A military guy who's put me on the phone with like 2 generals this afternoon. he's like, hey, why are you doing this? I'm like, let me tell you why I'm doing this, dude. I've been in business my whole life, and I've been looking for these gaps. Like literally, it's all I do is look for little big old fucking gaps that are so massive that even a dumb guy like me could fill it up and make some money from it. That's the way I look at everything, right? Can a dumb guy like me see a big old problem and bring any solution to it's better than the solution it's got, right? And dude, like we just need a lot of people with content. 90-year-old people that want to talk about anything, okay? Like a 92-year-old guy could get on Spaces. I will help you, dude. I'll host the bloody thing. Maze will host it. And guess what would happen? Tell me every mistake you've ever made, sir. Like we have never had that form of communication before on our planet, dude, without, well, I'm the granddad and I need to jam this shit down your throat. What if it was available? Like I'm available for that. See, that's why I'm here, because I'm like, there is no authentic data. Everyone has an agenda. And I think it's going to pay. And by pay, I mean, hey, minimally, I'm going to have some awesome karma from it. And by the way, the world needs it like badly. So one, stop fucking with all these people, dude. Like I would like cut them off and go, hey, you had your minute, dude. These look at the hosts that are doing this. Okay. They are fucking with you. I do not allow that in my spaces. I could get more viewers if I allowed it. Maze could probably get more viewers if she allowed it. I will not allow it. It's not constructive. And we start setting the table again and go, hey, you guys want to go to the fucking carnival? It's all out there. Go get it. If you don't want to go to the carnival, we have some accurate information here. And I would start like, we should start resourcing all the people that have a good heart and they have a story. And like, it'll sell forever. Sell forever. You know how many great stories we have never read? I mean, like I didn't meet any of you people before. Y'all are all very talented. Now the question is going to be, are you focused or are you responding to someone else, some other thing? Or are you creating your own dealio? I believe in mankind, dude. I believe your dealio is really, really unique and that mankind's never been able to fully value uniqueness. Thus, my view on Bitcoin. You can't value a human being, dude, that has a lifespan of 86 years. You cannot fucking value Bitcoin that has a lifespan of like 800 years. So it's like a no-brainer for me. Anyway, I'll shut up, but you guys are the solution, man. We just need everybody together.
Talking about Bitcoin, man. We're all in a trance. We're all listening to you talk about Bitcoin. Like,
well, about the uniqueness, I have a question, Gary. Is that your artwork behind you? It is?
It is, yes.
I love it.
Oh, thank you very much.
And I'm not a history major, so you can take that with some, a little bit of credit.
I have to say that Gary revealed some of his art to me, and I felt kind of privileged because Gary and I, we've talked about this, in these spaces about how loosening up in these spaces, being able, and that's kind of why Des and I talked about this as being the lounge, right? As it's more of like as it goes on and we start getting these technical issues fixed, it'll be more of a it's just a talk. It's like if we were all sitting around literally in a bar, just sitting at one of those perfect places where it's not too loud, you can talk, hang around, and it's just awesome, And so I got to see some of his art, and I can hear Gary. I can hear Gary when I'm talking. Sometimes I hear him sketching. I hear him writing on his paper. I can hear that little. I don't know if he's doodling because, or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, it's, I just went and did a deposition for 7 hours the other day, and my lawyer, he knows I doodle. He saw me grab my notebook. He's like, hey man, they have the right to all that shit. And I'm like, make them ask me, man. Sure enough, I'm writing, I'm drawing shit down. They're like, hey, what you doing? I said, I'm drawing how stupid of a person you are. That's what I'm drawing right now. Fucking idiot. And this is a waste of fucking time. How's that? You want it for the court documents? Fucking idiots, dude.
Dustin, Gary was talking about something you wanted to chime in there earlier. What?
Well, so I've been trying to onboard Gary into other tokens, right? And I love Gary. right? But he is a Bitcoin maxi. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Yes, he is.
Right. But what I just heard from Gary, like, I've got to figure out a way to break this. Right. So what I'm doing something right now, I just launched it. Right. It's called Pray. And it's all designed around like building a community, a tribe that like puts out content that is related to prayer, right, into a space that desperately needs it. And
I went
so,
in.
right, the thing that like I haven't done a good enough job, like, I think, explaining to Gary yet, and I will get him there. I have zero doubt in my mind, right? But these other tokens are the way in which we organize communities that create content, like the meme coins and the tokens. That the reason that they don't have utility, is we're not trying to be Bitcoin. We're not trying to be monetary. We're trying to find a way to monetize and incentivize communities to create the kind of unique content that you're exactly talking about. And so I got to get you in one of these communities, because I think once you see like how that goes, I think you're going, like, it's going to click for you. And you're going to realize that, like, under this umbrella, we're not Bitcoin, we're not monetary. We're actually taking the social content revolution and decentralizing it and putting it into the hands of the people, because everybody can own a little piece of like these projects that are content focused.
So Dustin, just so that we're clear to the audience,
Nice
yeah,
way to put it.
I have been very focused. I think, you have pitched me a couple of deals. And if you notice, the initial response is, hey, I'm not even interested. I mean, I'm interested to learn, but I'm not really that interested, just because I'm not in a hurry. I think everyone would do extremely well to slow down. Like, and this is the greatest wisdom you're getting for nothing right now. Like, y'all have no clue how big this opportunity is. So I look at it and go, man, I'm going to help people. I'm going to make a shitload of money without causing anyone any harm, which has been my life dream, dude. I've never taken anything from a consumer. I take it from big companies that are wasteful, monopolistic. I love smashing these motherfuckers. And they always underestimate us, always. So we have 10 years to make a lot of money and a lot of progress. Whether you're interested in money or power or influence, they're all the same things. Like, I do want to influence, dude. Because if you and I don't influence, guess what we get? We fucking did this for the last 60 years. We influenced nothing except our back pocket. Or your dads and parents were like so underwater, they were like hustling just to like survive tomorrow morning. Okay, like, I totally get that. But like, we're in a space now that if we collaborate, man, that this is the part of the tokens a little bit that I don't like. It's like, hey, I think there's a bigger mission here. Let's collaborate, go slow. If I launch a token, it's going to be a fucking winner, dude. It's going to last too. Nobody gets hurt, right? Like that. I do believe the concept. The problem is there's just no barrier to entry, and it's like, it's messy, So I'm not in a hurry, and that should be a good indicator to you guys that don't know me very well. It's like, wow, dude, you know how much money I could make in 1 year? Okay, like I could just make so much fucking money, it would be stupid. Okay, and I'm not doing that, and that's really important. I think should be important to everyone. And now I was terrified that Trump's were going to launch a meme coin, dude. I was going to be like, I'm out, dude. Fucking done. I'm out. See you later. I'm out of politics.
Dustin said the same
Fuck
thing in
you,
a post.
motherfuckers. Oh, totally a huge mistake. And that's been some of my reticence with you, dude. Like, I'm like, hey, there's a bigger mission here.
What I'll say to you on that, Gary, is like, right. And
I'm not saying you're off mission, by the way. I'm just saying for me, right?
What I'm saying is I have thrown the little feelers out there, right? And I have felt your reticence, right? And your focus on like, right, Bitcoin and like all of the opportunities that presents. And I actually appreciate right? You said something to me in one of these conversations that you don't want to be early because being early is like it's painful, right? Like you are accepting a level of risk. Now I love that shit, right? Like I love being in the trenches, and I have never minded like experimenting and doing the best I can, right? And my key is that I have to remind myself constantly to remind everybody else that we are trying to build something brand new and unique, and the chances of failure are absolutely there. But as a result of like being in those trenches, right, I've advanced. But the other reason that I don't push really hard, right, because when Gary pushes back against me, right, I drop it and we move on to whatever else we're gonna do. But the reason is I know that when it's there, right, that when I've gone through the battles and I wear the scars and I have a product that like actually works and makes sense, then Gary will be all about it. But like he is not stage one. Like I want to get in the trenches with all of you crazy DJs and like have the right like all this crazy stuff going on. He's got bigger fish to fry, and so that what I will say. I've always so I plant the seed, right? Like just throw a little seed out there. So like he's thinking about it a little bit, right? So that when the day comes and I've got like this beautiful developed content product that will absolutely click, like he is preconditioned and ready to accept it.
That's a hell of a way to put it, bro.
Ready to be watered. Those seeds are ready to be watered and fertilized, son.
Alpha, you got any seeds you wanna throw our way, bro?
This is what I'll say. I always say, unfortunately, fortunately, what happened, to me with our government, had it not happened, I also wouldn't have been in the position that I am right now. I would have been carrying on with life down a direction that I thought that I was in control of. But because I've had an opportunity to meet I know content creators with 500,000 and 1 million followers, and they don't thread the needle, man. They don't even get close to the gray area. And the conversation's always, well, I'm making, $50,000, $60,000 a month. And like I just try to beat it into them. If we lose this country, do you think they're going to let you keep it? Like, do you think they're going to say, hey, you played by the rules, you didn't go against us? Like, if this country goes in the direction that they want to send it, like everybody is going to lose everything. And I don't, to me, that's not an exaggeration, because all you got to do is look at other countries that were doing very well. And once they got their way, everybody got destroyed. And, it's always been, well, if you say that, there's affiliates and sponsors that aren't going to come your way. That's fine, because my audience knows I'm authentic. And when we do win, I'm going to retain my audience, and it's going to grow, because the level of people who are willing to tell the truth, if you're not pissing off your audience, you're not telling them the truth. Like the most of us know that if you're being completely who you are, then your audience is going to get mad with you sometimes.
Well, let me ask you this. The and Maze and Dad, you guys can jump in here too on this. Y'all have noticed what's going on in Europe?
Oh yeah.
They're arresting people now for memes. They're arresting them now for dissent. They're trying to get a hold of people that are not even in the country. They're trying to be able to were they talking about that, Des? Maybe you know this, or Maze.
But this isn't new. They did this during COVID in Australia.
Do what?
They did this with COVID stuff. If you posted a Facebook post when you were in Australia during their lockdowns and you said, I'm tired of lockdowns, or you complained at all. I remember specifically an 8-month pregnant woman for posting a negative thing about the lockdowns in Australia was arrested in front of her husband and children.
It's like real life Facebook police.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's real life, man.
It's really like
Gestapo. Freaking life.
But are we really shocked? Right? Isn't that the great thing?
A little bit. Yeah, I am a little bit. It's changing, Jen. It's changing so rapidly that I am a little bit shocked.
It's
like this
not
is
that rapid though. This has been coming. Look at what our FBI did to us. Look at the Twitter files. I mean, they have been building up on this. Like, it has been, I think, a long time coming.
Yeah,
no,
but
I think it has to. Go ahead.
that's the point, right? Is that Dust, can you mute your mic? Sorry, I'm hearing myself.
Hold on just a sec.
There we go. Okay, perfect. There we go. Now I can hear. No, but that's why America is so important, because we are the last bastion of freedom in the entire world, right? We are the ones who live in a country where we have the freedom of speech to step out and talk out. Now, is there British common law where, yes, it's implied freedom of speech? Yeah, there is. But at the end of the day, they don't have freedom of speech, right? And people who, like Tommy Robinson, who have been taking those risks and speaking out against the government, have been paying the price. And that's why it's so important. That's why we get the British people in our spaces. That's why we get the Australians in our spaces who are like, guys, wake up. Like, what are you doing? And I love talking to them because they give you a perspective that nobody in America can give us, right? They understand the American Constitution, right? They understand the freedom of speech better than most Americans do, right? And when they come into the spaces and they're like, guys, why are you allowing them to do that? Right? Or why are we just allowing them to search our bag because of 9/11 and we're scared of some terrorists? You know, like all of a sudden we are giving up freedoms willingly that we can't afford to give up because we don't understand the actual like basis of what freedom of speech is. And I think that's where we need to like educate people on what are our actual rights and what has been an overstep from the government since 9/11.
Boy,
Got a
that's
point. We've been
sounded
conditioned.
like Alpha talking right there. I mean, it's pretty much freaking spot on, man. I don't know. It makes me. I have to say, I'm a little bit worried. You know, they're talking about Elon Musk now, and just listening to you guys talk, right, just about what we're talking about right now, it makes me so thankful the fact that there is literally only one place in the world right now where you can do this, right? You have entire countries that are literally talking about wanting to shut down this platform for days. They want to bring Elon Musk into the country to be able to legally deal with him. Like it feels like, just saying it out loud, it feels like it's some weird cartoon, and like Elon Musk is this cartoon champion, but this is the only place, man. Google is shutting people down left and right. And just, they gave that example about you type in a Trump rally and it shows you a Kamala rally. Like, that is freaking ridiculous. And that is real. They are doing that in real time. And now I can't believe that England is stooping to this level where they're doing that. And I don't, Maze, and look, I know that you have a really good way of coming across to people, but I think that if you were living in England, I think even Maze would have her butt thrown in probably jail. And I think this is I think this is getting bad. Go ahead, Maze.
I would just say this. I know there's a lot of Elon fans out there. Fine.
Oh my God! Hold on a second. You're not fixing.
Hold on.
I'm muting her.
Hey, I got
to Maze. I got you.
I mean, it's important to just to navigate this consciously, not saying that you should censor yourself, not saying that, you should change your communication, but just know in the back of your mind that everything that you say, speak, type, whatever within that platform is, it's data that can be used against you in the future. So I wouldn't necessarily, it's going to be used for AI. Obviously, he's going to be using this to accelerate Grok. But it's also going to be used in many other ways, which is probably a whole nother space. And so I'm conscious of that. I do think that they will be able to apply behavioral codes to anybody who's using it, should that ever come this way.
Social credit score, which Maze has talked about
they've already got
for years now. Yeah.
Right.
Maze, they did this in Canada. You know that, right? About the space audio. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I just think that, to think that, to get reckless on here, which sometimes we do. But even if you delete it, just know that all of this stuff is recorded, and it is an opportunity that needs to be, taken advantage of 100%. And I'm very conscious of the fact that I've probably said some things that'll get me in trouble. But I just don't want people to think that Elon's like some sort of hero and thank God for him and this and that, because honestly, even if you are saying something, they can turn the volume down so much that is it really freedom of speech when they completely cut off your reach? I don't know.
The only thing I'll say about that though, right, which is that they're what no matter what they designed it for, right? I will say this: these platforms, these kind of social audios, video audios, right? Like I have, and I consider everybody up here like a real friend, a lifetime, right? Like, and the thing is, it's going to be much harder to play the same games, which is right. We talked about authenticity. Here's the thing. Every single person on this panel, I've been in a space where they've said something I vehemently disagree with, right? Vehemently. Except I know I've also had 1,000 conversations where we were exactly in line, and I understand and know your hearts better than a text app could ever do. And so I will say this: I disagree about the Elon thing, which is that there's always compromises, there's always issues with everything. And if you don't think that the intelligence agencies aren't watching every platform at every level, whether or not they agree to it or not, then like I would encourage you to reconsider like how much of your data and information is available. But Elon has given us the one place, and that I don't know Alpha, I don't know Maze, I don't know Gary, I don't know Mike, I don't know Dez, right? The way I do without spaces. And that's allowed us to make real connections. And those real connections are the kind of thing that can like change worlds and move mountains.
I think I would only add one asterisk to that, Dustin, and this is where we need to be careful, because they've starved us for so long that when we get breadcrumbs, we get super excited. And what I would say is the information, everything that you just talked about that we get from these spaces, it's critical to this information warfare. But we need to take it beyond the scope of just the digital realm. Like, people need to know who their neighbors are, who on your block aligns with you, and then take this information to them, or even get them into the spaces. And I think when we use this, virtually international tool, and we start bringing our local communities into it, then we see if they still let us use it or if they try to take it away.
Oh, that sounds like somebody's like node network inspired master plan that I've been like shouting at everybody for like 3 years. But right, you come people are right. It's why we go and meet people in person, right? It's why we tell everybody to like go put a barbecue together with your neighbors and just know the people around you. Because really what you're become, right? We have a central hub where we like process information. We've seen Destiny's research, right? We've seen Maze's research. We've seen Jen's research, right? We have gone through and spent years digging into all of this stuff, and we're really well informed, right? But at some point, we have to go out because we are siloed, and make no mistake about that siloing. But the thing is, there is nothing stopping you from going to like meet new people, and you will find so much joy in going out and meeting people. The same way that like I do have to say, like, I'm sorry that you guys have had to look at my glorious and amazing beard more than Jen's beautiful face. But I had to have the woman studies major make me dinner and bring it out. So
I hope they were sandwiches.
It is what it is. But like I actually really appreciate Jen making me dinner because I was starving.
Well, that's always a plus. And again, as long as Destiny and Maze and Jennifer know that they need to make sandwiches. Like,
dude, what are women for it other than make food?
I mean, as they said in the famous show Good Times back in the late 70s, kitchen in the bedroom, Florida. The kitchen.
We have to make you.
Welcome on back.
No,
let's all go to church on Sunday and get laid Sunday afternoon. That's what I want to do. I want to get some religion.
Hey, nobody can. By the way, nobody can afford to meet. Sorry, Maze, go ahead.
Look, everyone laughed about that. See, everyone knows that's true.
I don't know
Just
about getting laid
saying.
after church on Sunday. Is that what you said? Here's the
Well,
thing. I
dude,
think
you
right
ain't
now
never,
with
you
all of
ain't never
the,
gotten really good late. I mean, it's a spiritual experience on Sunday
Hey,
afternoon.
hey,
you know what?
Not
No
we had a
just
comment.
piece of meat,
Ladies
No,
down
you're
dog.
probably right. You're
Yeah.
probably right. But
gonna go
I think
deep.
that right now with all of the women that are just getting all of this, I would say, digital rewards for being completely like the whole feminist movement, just completely, body all out. They get all of this and they like let go of their intellectual pursuits and professional pursuits and academic, and they begin thinking this is where the currency is. So I don't mind the overcorrection. And even in my spaces, like when I do serve dinner to my family, yes, I'll use the word serve, because, and if we're not of service to our family, then, and God, then what else would, what do we consider ourselves doing as leaders and influencers? So I see a lot of overcorrection happening nowadays, and I actually think it's appropriate. And I know a lot of people might disagree with me, but
I think it's a great way to put it.
I agree.
Yeah, I
It's
think
a
that was
generational
well
thing.
put.
We need it.
No tomatoes on the sandwich, Mace.
But exactly, but like Alpha said, no tomatoes. I mean,
But
oil
seriously,
right now.
what
Mustard
Brian,
only,
like,
please, and jalapenos and
is
raw
it-
onions. Okay, slivered extremely slight, and then I would like my little nose of my bread cut and slightly toasted. And you show up in a tight,
Do you want it
tight
toasted
mini
first?
skirt.
Gary's doing AM. He's describing a sandwich with that S.
Hey,
What is it?
This is the
AMS,
kind
what
of
is it?
sandwich I like at
AMS,
1 a.m. Let me tell you about
Yes.
it.
I want you to make a sandwich.
ASMR is what I think it is, right?
SMR. What's that thing called where they talk like that?
NPR?
I want you to make a sandwich.
Oh, was it that low? I can repeat myself and make it really sexy if you'd like.
Yeah. We've never had a sandwich
he
described like
likes
that.
the
in
nose
my
of
life.
his bread snipped. That is hilarious.
Never heard bread. No, I've never heard a nose before.
Everyone likes it a little
it's
snippy
crusty.
snipped.
Never heard of that in my life. Freaking the nose of, hey, cut off the nose of the bread a little bit. Freaking nose of the bread. Never heard of that in my life.
Let's make conservatism great again.
Let me ask one quick point, and we're gonna kind of degenerate a little bit. The Olympics. I wanted to get your take on that opening sequence. It did fire up a lot of people, and I also want to get your take on the fact that a male and a biological male just won the women's boxing.
Are you talking to me? Who are you asking?
I am. Maze Love.
Well, I did not watch the Olympics opening. I avoided it because I knew that it was going to do. I mean, just intuitively, I had an idea that this was going to happen. But then everything that, like, everyone is so reactive. I was actually more disappointed with people on social media. Yes, it was dumb. It was horrific. But whenever we're giving it that much hype, it's almost being encouraged. It was just,
That's true.
I expect that of them. I would say there's nothing that I don't expect them to do to continue to try to demoralize society. But I just couldn't believe how long. That's cool. But let me just say this too. People are dividing over, like, how can Christians let, like, what are Christians supposed to do? I mean, yes, they denounce it. They talk shit about it. But like, there's this, do you guys get that in your feed where there's like a huge, I don't know, kind of just divide now between the Christians and Muslims? And I mean, I don't even know if it's just religious. I think in many fronts, they are basically punking Christians for not doing more. And I guess I just don't know what more would have been. But I thought they were successful in what they were trying to do. And that's sad.
Go ahead, Alpha, and then I want to
you.
make a comment about what May said too.
I think she said I dare you to push back. I might ruin my chances.
Push back on her, Alpha. God dang it, let's go. Push back hard.
Yeah, you forget about that sandwich.
So this is what I'll say. There's certain things that have to be addressed, and they have to be addressed in very aggressively, because the fact that we've always just keep turning the cheek is why we have grown-ass men dressed up in women's stripper clothing dancing for kids. It's why here in California we have Newsom, passing a Senate bill where the kids can go and have these hormone treatments behind their parents' back. and that if parents try to get involved, the parents are, the kids are removed by CPS. And it's because we've always we tweet about it, we make a headline about it, and then that's where it stops. Like, do conservatives not realize the power of the wallet that they have? Like the funding that goes into the Olympics, if you pull your subscriptions to NBC and MSNBC and all these places do you not realize that when we make these aggressive, and I hate to use cancel culture, maybe that's what I'm calling for, I don't know. I think there's a difference between cancel culture
That's what worked with Bud Light.
And that's what I was to say. I think there's a difference between going after, somebody's individual job versus going after an entity. I think there's a difference there. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just saying is that we have to make it known that if you're going to do something, there's a consequence to it. And I think
I agree with that.
far too long that they've gone away with it. And I think if people are getting called out right now because they're not doing enough, then call them out. I'm okay with it.
Alpha, is there a consequence though when it's the same way when you tax the rich? All they do is push the price down to the poor, right? Bud Light loses $1 billion. Who pays for it? We do in beer prices.
And here's the thing: is if once again to that word information war, what does it have in it? War. And if anybody thinks that you can engage in a war and there's not going to be, you're not going to pay sacrifice to it, then you're wrong. We lose all these fights. Because once we start getting into the threshold of just an inconvenience, we start to pull back. And it's people are gonna, like myself, you keep pushing the needle and stuff you say, they're gonna come after your First Amendment. You'll be a Quad S, you'll be this. So what? You keep doing it, because I truly do believe courage is contagious. I truly do believe humanity is mostly good at heart. It's just people see everybody kind of pushed in a box, and everybody's kind of waiting for someone to do it, and let's just do it.
Well, and I think that's why people have had the reaction that they have had to the attempted assassination attempt on Trump, right? Is because for the first time, right, you saw a miracle happen in real life, right? Like the fact that his head turned, right, and the bullet hit his ear, right? But and this is something I said in the last space. It's a fearlessness. Right. And when he went down and he's laying on that stage and he realizes, wait a second, they just took a shot at me. I'm alive. They missed. I'm getting up and we're going to fight. Right. And it's that moment where he realizes like they have shot their shot. They have done everything they could possibly do against me, and it didn't work. And now I have to show America that we have to stand up and actually fight these people, right? And actually go out, and they've weaponized that word, right? Because that was a word that I used on the March for Trump going into January 6th, right? And when after January 6th happened, you go back and you watch the speeches you gave going in, right? In retrospect, and you're like, oh, I said fight, and I said this, and I said that. All of that was well within my First Amendment right? But all of a sudden, because they put this new gaze on society, right, where they were like, oh, you can't say fight, you can't say go to war, you can't use any of these battle terms because you're inciting a riot, right? Like they weaponized our freedom of speech and using those hyperbolic terms in order to get our point across, right? And that's honestly why I've handled spaces the way I've had. Like, do I kick people off the stage left and right? Do I call it, like, I'm just honest, you're stupid, right? I don't have to deal with it anymore. They have shot everything they possibly freaking can at us, Dustin and I, right? And we're still standing here. And now I know I'm meant to be here. And if I'm meant to be here, I need to walk with that fearlessness to show people that courage, Alpha, is contagious, right? That it's okay to say fight. It's okay to be hyperbolic. It's okay to go out and stand on the principles that you were raised with, on the value system that you were raised with. And that's what they're taking away. They are taking away America's value system and not replacing it with anything. And in this vacuum, we're getting the value system of the Democrat Party and Kamala Harris.
So there is a fine line between restraint and cowardice. And we collectively as Americans have shown restraint to a heroic level in the faces of abuses and usurpations. But there comes a point where if somebody is slapping you around and you don't stand up for yourself and fight back, it is no longer restraint, it is cowardice. And I think that's what Alpha and Jen and everybody has been talking about.
Well,
I
and just
agree.
to add
Well-
on to that real quick, in the movies, right? If we're looking at this as a movie, right, happening in front of us, in all these movies, you sided with the Wolverines. You've sided with the good people against the bad people, right? And now this movie is playing out in real life, and we're sitting here and we're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, these people are gaining so much ground. What are we doing? We're not doing anything because you're not siding with the right people. We're not doing anything because no one's brave enough to stand up and be like, wow, just because you have all the power and you have literally inserted Joe Biden, handed it to Kamala Harris, and now you're sitting there, we're going to arraign her at the DNC, right? Like, wake up and realize the battlefield you're playing on. You need to understand the battlefield if you're going to win the war. And I think that's the problem, is people don't understand just how entrenched and how evil this is.
Well, I the only thing I'd take exception with what Jen just said, people aren't doing anything because they think they're doing something when they're responding to bullshit bait that makes them feel the same way that doing something would do. Right? And so until you cut yourself off from the artificial, like, oh, I put that stupid guy on X or on Facebook in their place in the comments, you didn't do anything. In fact, you're being manipulated to prevent you, because you are the kind of person that we need to actually go do things. And you need to go put the barbecue together. You need to go to the local group, go to a church, meet a community. You are the person that we need. And instead, they have convinced you, right, by figuring out a way that your brain will release the same chemicals, that you're doing it when you're really just like pretending and LARPing to do it.
What you smiling at, Cardone? Hold on one second, Alpha. What are you smiling at? I don't. When Gary smiles, man, it makes me nervous. I don't know what's happening. Like, I'm like, is there something on my face?
I'm just minding my own damn business.
Yeah,
bro.
you're minding your own business.
You're
laughing. You try to bring somebody
Bitcoin,
up. You try to bring somebody up on stage.
Bullshit, Gary. What you got?
Because you got one of those blush smiles going on right there.
You really want to know, man?
Smile.
I got hit slap. Who has become a friend? Who has become a friend of mine? Is on one of y'all's broadcasts.
He's
Destiny's.
on mine.
He said, "This is a very high IQ team." Now, this is very cool. Okay, this is to like let's move positive, because I know you guys sometimes get in a fucking rut. But if we get positive, I met this cat 3 or 4 months ago. He was running over a ton of people, dude. I mean, he was running over 8 fucking Yankee Doodles at a time. I show up. I dare anybody to fucking run over my ass. But I show up and I'm just watching it from the sidelines going, oh, wow, this guy's like allowing the Yanks, exactly to what Dustin was saying, allowing the Yanks to just spin over themselves. You know why? Because they were so in dire need to be heard. And and this guy just stayed on point, and he knew his subject matter so well that he would just spin people around. It's a really fascinating exercise. I come in here and call him on it, and he and I become really good friends. And I think there's something really magical. And I mean this to everyone, token builders and Bitcoin maxis and US dollar motherfuckers, whatever, if you make Japanese yen or distill your own whiskey, something is happening here that decentralized technology. I have a microphone, cost me $600. I have a freaking camera, it costs $6,000. Dude, I would beg everyone to go buy one. Okay, you can buy them on the used market for 10% of that. Buy it. Okay, we need a fucking army of people. And the army is doing great good. And the great good is like alpha. Like I just met this cat, okay? Everything he just said while I stepped out to smoke a cigarette, like, bro, okay, this is real shit, okay? It's just at some point we must pick a path. And I have done extremely well by picking the right path. And usually the wrong people tell me I am wrong. Okay. Like the people that will fail will usually say, hey, you're wrong, dude. You're going the wrong way. Don't follow the herd. Okay. If already there's a 50% vote, I'm telling you it's wrong. Okay. Like the herd is always wrong. So it is the revolutionaries. It's the free thinkers. Who do we remember about in the history of mankind? Plato. What did Plato do? Thought, wrote, came up with theories. Humans are designed to create out of an imagination, and we are being stymied, man. Okay, so what we need to think about is, I don't have anything in common with most of you guys, dude. Okay, I would never meet most any of you people. In fact, I don't think I would meet one of you for certain, okay? And I actually like you guys. And something brought us all together. And I think that's the thing that I find really fascinating. Hey, what's the gravity, the central point, the central theme that's brought us together? And I'm going to tell you that for me, it's Bitcoin, which I also find fascinating because it has this quality, or it's taking on a quality that I think has been voided from our society for about 40 years, and that's religion. And I know this sounds really weird to be drawing all these parallels together, but like if you had a magic little something or idea and technology slammed into it at exactly the right time, that happens to be Bitcoin for me. My interest in Bitcoin, my fascination with Bitcoin is now taking me into this media thing, because I realized that no one understands finance whatsoever. And then it dawned on me, oh my God, the education system is horrific. And then it straps me back into politics, and I'm getting connected with people in a very, very efficient and unbelievable. Like I'm working 16 hours a day, man. And I'm not really working. I'm actually having a good time, but there is something magic going on as long as we will not be censored. And this is why I beg people to get a microphone and a camera and follow everybody you possibly can, because I expect I will be canceled. Okay. And if I'm canceled, what I need, if I bring any value whatsoever, I need all you guys to protest, because that is not cool. So there are going to have to be some incidences where we, test the system. I think that's true. And so putting up 10,000 of us, dude, there's going to be some, shall we say, sacrificial lambs. I'm in. Let's roll. Okay. This is history, dude. This is fucking history. Not one of you fuckers ever imagined, or your mommy or daddies imagine, that you could be living in history and go down in the annals of making a difference. I would beg you, implore of you, dude, take the step to make a fucking difference. And I'm not talking about the panel. I'm talking about these people that are watching this stuff, right? So I mean, Gary, this is truly an opportunity, even if you're a narcissist. Okay, just you want to go do something, you want to build something, fucking come over here. You want to do something big, motherfucker, big business guy, show up here. I'll show you $1 trillion opportunity to transform the government. What's that like? That's a deal there, big thinker. Anyway, sorry.
No, so to me, the essence of everything you're talking about, and I think what we're all talking about here, is the notion of freedom, right? Bitcoin gives you that financial freedom, right? Having free speech gives you that freedom, right? And for people who are Christian, right, having Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, right, and walking on the path that he is laying out in front of you, that's freedom. And I think that notion of freedom is the uniting message that we're looking for, right? Because whether it's Bitcoin, whether, whatever you're doing, You want to be able to do that, but you want to be able to do it in such a way that you have the freedom of that creativity and that how much inspiration and drive you want to add to that. And it's that notion of freedom that I think is really going to save this country, because in so many instances our freedoms have been taken away, right? And you might not notice it at first, right? But all of a sudden you go to do something and they're like, oh, you need to sign this paperwork, or oh, you need to fill out this form so you can like take your canoe down this river that you've been going down since a child, right? And it's, they have slowly eroded away our freedoms to the point where, like I was saying earlier, we don't even really understand what freedom actually is, right? And where we are supposed to fit in this puzzle. And you know, going back to our founding fathers, like they got pissed over a 2% tea tax. People, they were throwing tea in the harbor over a 2% tea tax. And here we have Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, you know, standing up there as like Adolf Hitler, slamming his fist saying, if you're MAGA, you're the devil. Like, who's really the devil here? Why is it the people who stole the election, who are dishonest, who are taking away our notion of what it essentially is to be an American? Why do they get to tell us that we're wrong and take away our rights and tell us that we can't do what we're doing, when we know in our hearts what we're doing is ultimately what America is? And we have to get that freedom and the fearlessness back in order to really be a challenge to what's going on in this world. Because if you don't value freedom and you don't value the ability to travel when you want, go where you want, how many kids you want, then why are you even bothering being an American? Because that's what America is.
Everybody got comfortable, Jen, with being in that middle convenient area, because you have to listen. These are your two options: amass so much wealth that they can't stop you, or lose everything that they can't leverage anything against you. Because we've all heard the saying, the most dangerous person is someone who doesn't have anything to lose. But it's when they've managed to make us feel so comfortable in the middle with conveniences that people want to stay in that area where it's comfortable, and you lose that way. And going back to what Dustin said, for people that want to know, well, how do I know if I'm doing enough? If the end of the week comes and you're not exhausted, you didn't do enough. Like, this is literally the fight for the country right now. If you're not doing 16, 18, 20-hour days, if you don't look like the rest of us that all on here look like raccoons right now, it's because you ain't doing enough. And the best part is you'll be able to sustain that kind of work ethic because you know you're doing something that's righteous. And when you know you're doing something that's righteous, you hit that threshold where your body's tired and you get this another boost to carry on. And then you attract other people like that. And I'm telling you, they know that. They absolutely know that. That's why they won't take everything away, because then they know you become somebody that's very dangerous to them. They just want to keep you on that hook so that you just keep following the carrot, and they walk away with it. And it's like we're in that 2-minute drill of the fourth quarter right now. Like, there's no do-overs. However this ends, there's no do-overs. We're either going to win it all for our children and our grandchildren, or we're going to be the people that go down in the history books that Gary was talking about to be like, how'd you guys screw us over so bad?
Yeah, but Alpha, go ahead, Gus.
So I want to like add to something that Gary and Alpha just said. That's number one, right? It does not feel like work when you do it. So like the night before last night, I didn't sleep because I found this thing that is like, right, it's literally $pray. And I hope everyone, I'm like, I will shamelessly plug, I don't give a shit. Right? Because like I'm encouraging people to pray, and I have been praying. I'm not even joking. I've been praying 3 times a day, and the crazy, insane shit that's been happening to me is so motivating and so exciting. And the thing that I would encourage everybody, like, right, and Gary really gets this well, which is you won't win, right? Everybody's already afraid. Right, understand that everybody is already afraid, and at an instinct level, they know that everything is off, that it's not quite right. But the thing that we often miss by overemphasizing the urgency and the fear is offering people a positive vision of the future. And what Gary just said and what is happening in these spaces and what has been happening with these groups. And Alpha just did it to me. It was one of the coolest things, right? Like, honestly, it's really honoring when I hear ideas I put out and other people are talking about them and have advanced them and added their own angles to them, right? We are at this place where we have the opportunity, right? Once in a millennia's opportunity to completely redesign and rethink what our world is, how we interact with each other. Right? Governance is literally just like the rules and conditions we set for the interactions between human beings. And we are completely remaking all of that. And we should be having these kind of philosophical, interesting discussions because ideas cannot be stopped, which is I have done a lot of contemplate, like Alpha's been through it and Jen have been through it, right? When you start doing this stuff, you will, that right? Gary pointed it out. You have to come to terms that there will not be victory without sacrifice, and they will not give up their power, right? But that doesn't mean you don't do it. If that's the kind of thing that stops you, we probably don't need you anyway, to be honest with you, right? You lack the like courage to really be a value add to what we're trying to do. But take this opportunity, and what you will find when you start having these conversations is that you feel not artificially good. You don't have that artificial short-term like dopamine hit that makes you excited. You actually start experiencing things like genuine joy and hope and love. And those are irreplaceable. And once you start feeling it, here's the coolest part of it. Right?
Feel
And
it, brother.
the reason I get all like I turn bright red and I get all crazy, right, is because once you start experiencing the real thing, the artificial thing is so fucking obvious to you, right? Like, well, once you're experiencing real joy and real love and real accomplishment, then you go back and they try to trigger you with the artificial shit. And you're like, what the fuck kind of cheap ass ride is fucking this? Like, I need to get back to the good shit, the real shit. So, like, right? Like,
look,
to be honest, I believe we're about to go into a renaissance period.
I think we are, and that's exactly what I was just going to
say.
say. I think it's going to swing. The pendulum's going to swing back because it has to swing back farther than the middle in order to balance things out, right? And I do think that people ask, look, Jen, and to what Jen was saying, Des, I'm coming to you, but ask and it'll be given to you, seek and you'll find, knock and the door will be open for you. There's a lot of things in the Bible that are not very hard directions to follow. If we just did them, like Dustin, you're talking about with praying, like come to me and ask me, and remember what we go through now, Jesus said, they will always hate you because of me, because they hated me first, always. And now and if you think about it, and I'm coming to you right now, Des, but that's a pretty prophetic thing to say 2,000 years ago, not knowing if the document that these things would be documented and saved for this long. And they will say, they will always forever hate you. These two tribes right here will go this way. They will always hate you because of me. Now, whether you believe it or not is irrelevant, but to say it 2,000 years ago and it exists now, just on the face value alone, it's pretty impressive. Right? So I think that we ought to embrace the struggle, right? Like Dustin, Alpha, Gary's talking about, like embrace the struggle and know that we are facing these struggles for a reason, to make us stronger, to grow from it, from something to bring us more. But I think, just like what Dustin said, I think a lot of us are starting to come around more to, I've got something inside me that I may not be missing, but it's something that maybe needs to be refilled. And like you say, with joy, there is a joy when you give someone some money and you know that you made them happy, or you helped them out. That's a joy that is irreplaceable. And I don't know if Gary's having a spastic fit there.
Because you did that chipmunk thing again.
But Gary actually does that on his live stream where he says, go out and do something nice for somebody and don't tell anybody about it. And what happens when you do it? Joy. Right? Right, Des?
Absolutely. And you have to be able to sacrifice. There is no great achievement in life without sacrifice. That is just a fact. If you want that nice body, you got to sacrifice time and go work out. You want to get that job, you got to sacrifice the time, put in hours. You have to do it. And I put it in the private chat because it's my favorite part of the Declaration of Independence, which is like my favorite document on earth, that following the words life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, that after that is when it gets good, because they tell us in that document that this would happen, that we would get comfortable. And what would happen what we would have to do if we got comfortable. I'm going to read it if you don't mind. Prudence indeed will dictate that will dictate governments long established should not be changed for light or transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces the design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such a government, right? That is what they're telling us, is you guys are getting comfortable. You're suffering because it's tolerable. You're suffering and staying in place because you can manage. But we're not meant to just manage. We're not meant to just tolerate. We are meant to live life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That is what this country was founded for. And we are in democratic backsliding right now. And we have to sacrifice, as our forefathers did, for that right to continue, period. It took sacrifice to get here. What makes anyone think it's not going to take sacrifice to keep it?
It's not just comfortability. It's fear too, though. The fear keeps us caught in an area. I've been going through a little bit of that myself in a certain area in my life, and you get caught and you feel like that I'm safe if I don't move. You know,
no, you got to get past that. You got to get past it.
You're right. And
I've lost like everything though. So like, I feel like all I've got left is like at least my integrity in this country, you know? So it's, but that's really all you have. Cause it doesn't matter. Like, you love your family or your cars, your house. If the country goes down, none of that is going to be within your control anymore.
Well, go ahead, Jen.
No, so I wanted to, when Alpha mentioned before about wealthy, like having unlimited wealth, right? Or having a lot of money. I think it was a real wake-up call for a lot of people in this country who thought they had amassed the wealth that they needed, and realized when they started going after Donald Trump and they started hitting him with all these erroneous lawsuits, and they started trying to turn off his bank accounts and take down his businesses and take down everything he had built, that money wasn't even a protection anymore. That even though you had amassed that you worked your entire life for that freedom, that money was still being held in a financial institution that was controlled by the government. That if they got pissed off enough, they can just turn off the switch and you don't even have access to that money unless you diversify and put it in such things as Bitcoin and stuff like that. So I think that a lot of members of our society have had a real wake-up call where they thought the financial institutions and the banks and all of these things that have been built up in society were actually the tools that were enslaving them, and they didn't even realize they were enslaved by these institutions. And I think that's why you see so many people going to cryptocurrency and going to Bitcoin, because it truly offers you a freedom that you don't have, even if you are completely super wealthy and never have to worry about anything else in your life. That can still be taken away from you if you don't take the steps to protect it.
What do you think about that, Cardone? I liked it.
No, I'm waiting for the mute button. Do I?
Alpha, you don't have to know Gary outside of this like live stream tonight. It's fine.
Do it.
Just enjoy the moment while you're here. So that's really the most important part.
Why you say that, bro?
Oh, I didn't know you were listening.
I don't understand what that means. What does that mean?
I apologize. I forgot you were there.
No. What do you mean? I'm serious. What do you mean? Because somebody said something to me the other day, and you've re-triggered me now. And I want to know what you mean. I want to know what you mean, Mike. Okay, I'm a little sensitive on this subject. If I think it's what I think you meant it was,
I didn't want him to think that you were mentally that you were. How does Dustin say it, Jen?
Oh, wow. You're going a lot deeper than I thought you were going to go.
Wait, what does Dustin
Maybe I
say?
shouldn't
What?
have asked. Look at Desi there.
Des, don't drink when you should be supporting me, for God's sakes. Alpha, what are you
Didn't
doing?
you tell me to make a sandwich like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, I did, but you didn't make one.
Why aren't you eating it then? No, I made one. Why don't you go stuff your face?
I don't understand. I haven't seen Gary. I haven't seen Liquid Death on your freaking screens in a while. What's oh no. Well, he pulls
Empty,
it out,
baby,
really.
empty. It's a good water. I must say it's a good water. I would see this is a group of people I would do some promotion for, but
I like them too.
How do they not know that you have that all the time on there and not like get with you? Like,
yeah, I
It's
mean,
coming,
who knows
manifest.
me? Nobody
Coming.
knows me. I don't do any, I don't reach out to any of these people, but I would support this. This is the kind of stuff I'd be okay with doing. You know, I'd love to like talk Gulfstream or Bombardier and to like, hey, do you got which one of you guys? I'd love to get. This is my goal. Okay, I would love to get such an audience that Gulfstream calls up and says, "Hey man, we'll give you 400 miles a year if you stick a model in your back." And now that is a good advertisement. Not going to offend anybody but the carbon bitches, the little weenies who are so fucking confused. It's unbelievable. If they understood how much most people fart, okay, they're like, you're a carbon fucking problem, dude. But yeah, that'd be a good promoter too. I'm not sure how we got on this subject other than you made me feel really inferior. See, Mike, you did. And then I switched to business immediately. That's what I do. Okay. I defend myself with business.
I've wanted to do that to Gary for so long, and this was the first time I did it. It was an accident. You gotta be freaking kidding me. I don't even remember it.
Good.
That was the only way it was ever going to happen, bro. Hey, who's our new man? Who's the guy? Who's the new guy?
Vice is my man. Man, introduce yourself to the crowd there, brother.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Great panel tonight. I was just hanging out in the chat, talking with everyone that's supporting the show. It's good to see Dustin, my man, Gary, Alpha, Maze. These are some amazing people. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, just talking about a few things. By the way, Kamala Brings Us Joy is trending on X. Now let me just say it again in one quick sentence. Kamala Brings Us Joy. Hashtag Kamala Brings Us Joy is trending.
Because it's to be unburdened by what has been.
Maybe Maze
Can I put a burden on someone and then pretend like I did not burden them with my unburdenedness?
Only if you put it in Venn diagrams.
It's starting to sound very sexy now. I mean, I'm starting to go, ooh, this X-rays. This. You could go so many different places with the subject.
That's true.
Lady's crazy.
Wait, what was Gary sipping on? I want what he's having.
Well, you've been invited before. Yeah, Froggy.
I know, I'm sitting outside.
What are you doing over there, bro?
My camera might work with my phone.
Oh, you guys are ahead of us.
What?
Okay, cool.
She's been holding
My
out this
phone's
whole
about to die,
time.
though. No. I got on my phone. I switched to my phone. So, but there's only like 10% left, so it'll work.
Well, we're about to wrap this up anyway, Maze. But see, now you're one of us, right? Now you're one of the crew.
I love the frogs. It makes me feel better about my frogs.
Outstanding.
A frog. It sounds like a damn Komodo dragon. That's what it sounds
like. It does. Yeah. I was like, is that a frog?
I want to say, because I got jump boys, but like, and girls, but Mike, Destiny, this was freaking awesome. Right? Like, by the way, I love all of you guys, like, genuinely. Like, I feel so blessed to have met your company and to have shared like all these incredible discussions. And make no mistake, this is world-changing stuff. And I'm really grateful. I will do a better job so I'm not sitting here holding my phone and chain smoking cigarettes every time we do one of these things. Although I can't promise about the cigarette thing. But seriously, great job and great discussion. This was awesome. Thank you, guys.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm so glad you're freaking here. You know, by the way, for the people that are in the chat, we talked earlier about getting involved locally. I'm going to tell you right now, one of the first people that welcomed me was Dustin and Jen to the freaking to America Mission. You go to americamission.com. They have
I know Jen's got
free
me jealous.
spaces. They have paid spaces. If you want up-to-date stuff, you want to get say again.
Jen's got me jealous because I have the same shirt, and I was like, I should have thought of that. I have the same shirt.
Oh, look at it. She's got there. It is right there. America Mission. She's wearing her merch literally right now. So you can't. I
need mine, but it's just too late now. But like next time,
and it's got a QR code on the back.
Mm-hmm.
So can't hear her, but we can see the QR code. But listen, americamission.com. By the way, there's a lot of people in the chat as well. You had Kim, Adam Caravaggio, and look, we're all involved with America Mission as well. So please, if you want to get involved, if you want to know what's going on out there and you want to have people that you can turn to and hang out with, I cannot think of a better organization or group of people than America Mission and Dustin and Jen, the founder.
Oh wait, real quick. With America Mission, I just put in a great piece on Kamala Harris. If you want to really understand what kind of vile woman she is, America Mission's got that new article up. Go take a look.
And that's the beauty, right? Is the video, the articles.
Hey, Des, can you give me a executive summary? I'd like a little.
Don't do it.
Yeah, she's a self-hating person who claims to be Black, but has perpetrated the abortion that is equal to 40% of the current African-American population in the United States.
It's a pretty good summary.
Smash, 24 seconds. Hey, can I just bring up something that I forgot to mention earlier? I will feel like I did not do the right job. I got so excited to speak that I lost my mind. You guys were talking about abortion, and I think Dustin tried to go there, and I might have interrupted him, or probably one of the women did. This is not an issue we should be dealing with right now. Like, seriously, okay?
Agreed.
If I want to abort a child, and I do not recommend it, I have been a part of it. I believe that every woman that's ever had one is like, ooh. But it's not for me to judge on that. If I want an abortion, dude, I can get one. Okay. So I don't even understand what all this stuff is about. If it's in the States, move the fucking state, move in, move out, do whatever you want to do. I just think this is a red herring. And I know it's a sensitive topic. Oh, I didn't hear that, but I'm telling you, this is a red herring. It is not a priority. If you want to win the abortion issue, you got to win some other issues first. I'm a nice guy. You guys know that. I have zero time for that issue right now.
Well,
because you guys, they're going to abort if they want to abort.
You got to get elected. You got to get elected, and then you can't focus.
Speaking of,
you got to win elections.
Yes.
The problem is that issue was purposely sent back to the states, right? Roe v. Wade, right? We've heard all about it. The reason the left is using this as a red herring issue or one of their core issues when it has literally zero to do with the federal election is the fact that they are so well organized around that issue, right? They have all of their shock troops. They have all of the people who are out there. They have their ground game. Right? They have the organization around that issue, and they know that the Democrats or the Republicans will lose, right? We get way too emotionally involved in that issue because you're literally arguing whether you want to kill a baby or you don't want to kill a baby, right? They keep us to three issues: whether you want to smoke weed or not, who you want to have sex with in your bedroom, and whether you want to kill babies or not. Okay, those are the three issues that we are fighting about in America. And why? Right? Because they're emotional. And if we're concentrating on those issues, we're not concentrating on election integrity, money in elections, right? We're not concentrating on issues that we could actually progress the argument and do it now. And if the Democrats want to use the argument, well, we need to get, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, whoever into office in order to protect our abortion rights. Well, then why doesn't Joe Biden just sign a executive order right now protecting abortion? Because he pretty much has the entire Congress who will go along with him at this point, right? And he has the office of the presidency. Why do you have to get him through another election in order to protect your right to kill your baby? Right? That doesn't even make sense. It's only the organization and the emotional issue which all throws us off, right, on something we don't even have to be arguing about in this election. And that's why when anybody brings it up in the spaces,
I have like a vitriol reaction to it because it's like, I know why you're doing that and you're not going to do it here.
Gary, by the way, just tried to crop dust this entire like conversation. Right? So he literally the elevator doors were closing. Gary tried to like let a big old fart out and then run out the door. I see what you did there, Gary.
Maze has only got like 3% left on her phone. You know what I'm saying?
It was not. Hey, it was not a fart. It was a big old hand grenade.
Maze,
Well,
take
you
it
know,
away with this. That's what Gary-
but I just wanted to throw that out there because I think we just can waste some energy. And like, I'm a military guy. Like, I look at all this as a strategy, and I wouldn't waste any ammo on that subject. Like, Jen, if we want to win, right, we just win on, hey, I hear you. We think that's a state decision. Let's move on. And give it no oxygen. None. Zero. Bye. See you later, alligator.
Well, sorry to interrupt, Gary, but this is the discussion we've been having, right? Which is, are we setting what the agenda and what we're talking about, or are we responding to somebody? That it's been really the dominant discussion all night.
Alpha, I noticed that
Is
you
Alpha
have your
having a
hand up.
stroke? Are you okay, Alpha?
I figured it worked in spaces.
It would, because Mike's a teacher. Like, the raising the hand, he's going to respond. He's like, go ahead.
Yes, you young man with the hat on, with your hand up. Thank you for being so respectful.
Mine's been up
Go ahead and
longer.
just give us one moment, Des. Alpha, go ahead, Alpha. Yeah.
No, I just want to say I enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for having me. I hope to be in more in the future. I do got to fly. A friend of ours that passed away a couple days ago. We're going to be doing a memorial space for her.
I saw that. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that.
Condolences.
I want to do that. Yeah. But also, before I leave, for you guys that like Bitcoin, if you haven't read this book,
see, he even read the show notes about the book recommendation. Right?
If you haven't read the book,
National Book Lovers Day.
Just putting it out there. But Mike, you know I still got some XRP, man. I ain't mad at you.
I know you do, brother. I know. At the end of the day, me and you, right? That's it, right down there. My boy,
but
right there.
I brought my book.
I also know the power of Bitcoin. So you're definitely going to find it in that place that's sunk at the bottom of the ocean. So with that, you guys, good night. God bless. Semper Fi, and you guys all take it easy.
Later, brother. Have a good one.
Bye,
Hell of a dude right there. I love freaking Alpha, man. That is a great dude.
Alpha is a G.
He's a G. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up real fast. I'm gonna go ahead and so stick around for like 1 minute. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream, and then we'll get everybody off together. Guys, thanks y'all. Thank you guys so much for being here. Absolutely loved it. Maze, I'm so glad you could make it. I'm glad we got the camera work. So next time, now we got you. We're gonna have you on camera. It's been fantastic. Gary, love you as always, brother. Every comment that you make, it just seems like it resonates with so many people. You have an absolute gift for that, man. And anytime I can get you on one of these things,
we should do an art one together. Me and Gary, we should do an art one together.
Y'all should. Yeah, that would actually be a pretty cool space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Dustin and Jen, you guys, my fam, bro. I always love you guys. And I promise you, we are all going to freaking meet up one of these days. We're going to get on the road and but this is the inaugural edition of Say Something Lounge, and hope to do this again. And if you guys ever want to jump on with us, you have an open invitation to do that. So,
what we should do, bro? We should have a little background music, and it's like, on the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again.
That's why I came. I came to
go
bring
get
background
it. Go
music.
get it, Red.
Wait, everybody has to meet Louis.
Are you guys?
I love to meet them.
Oh my God!
I saw him earlier. I was like, oh.
Pay you $100 to watch him pitch. Wow, that was graceful.
It was a hell of a
Very
dog.
classy.
No, he was a good dog.
So bad.
Listen, always classy over here, Gary. Okay.
Stay classy.
Very well done there.
What kind of music you want, Gary, for next time? You want country, bluegrass, jazz? What do you want for the background?
Dude, I'm a fucking crazy, all-out rock and roll guy.
Rock and roll, I got you.
I mean, Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and me were some of the greatest creative ball-busting motherfuckers on the planet. And you know why? They just set such an extreme example. I actually think we're going through a very similar event right now. It went in the 60s. It feels very, very similar, kind of almost like a revolutionary type of movement. I just don't see the new creativity. Maybe it's here.
It's not.
I'd love
Oh, it might be here. Yeah.
Dude, the
It's not
music
easy.
though, bro.
It's
No
in
way.
streamer world. It's in streamer world, but most people aren't on these streaming platforms. We're trying to bring it to X. That's why. I work
So
with Mike
what
and
do you
Dustin.
do, man? You're an audio guy. You
Hold
smash in some
that
good
thought. We're
vibes.
gonna
got
stick around. We're gonna
guitar.
stick around for
No,
60
Mike,
seconds.
Mike, don't
Yeah.
overrule my. I want to have a conversation. I don't care, dude. I rented
Y'all
your
gonna have a
platform. I
conversation. We're
got
just not
part
gonna
of your
be on the
fucking
live stream.
capacity. You can't cut my ass off. Okay,
Hey,
it's not
hey,
fair. I'm going to file an antitrust suit against
No,
you. You
please
cannot
no.
cut. Are you harming me and Red's like ability to communicate with each other, dude? Like
Okay.
you're acting like a
back there, right there.
you're a
I'm gonna
suppressor,
go.
man.
I love you
A
all.
Google suppressor.
I am like struggling with the Florida. Like my hair is a freaking poof ball.
Jen, no
Like,
one cares
It's the
about your hair.
humidity. It's just so
Listen,
bad
No
right now.
one but
It's
you.
it's
Okay,
been a
nobody
swamp
asked
on the
you
East
right
Coast
now.
this year.
Destiny, say goodbye to everybody.
Oh, my
Love
way.
you all.
Bye, Jen.
Bye, guys.
No, just
Thank
say
you for
goodbye.
having
You
me.
gonna
I
rug
really
it, boy?
appreciate
You ain't
it.
got the
Regular
guts to
time.
rug it, do you,
We ain't gonna
man?
catch you guys next time.
Do
guys.
it.
He's gonna cut it. He's
Do
gonna
it.
cut it.
He ain't
Chavez
gonna
wanted
cut
me to
it. He's
ask